temple. Your tears rinse my feet. I walk out, I'm able to carry your peace. It reminds me of a song that I heard long ago. Maybe I've always known that you were right there. A simple melody playing over and over in my dreams, but somehow out of reach, eluding me until I release. You come close to me when I release, and I let you take the lead when I release. My heart starts to see when I release. When I release, you said, come to my garden, eat from my tree, step in my river, let it take you deep. Your heart is my temple, your tears rinse my feet. You walk out, you're able to carry my peace. It's an ancient sound heard from the ones who came before. Now it's here once more to pierce your soul. A simple melody playing over and over in your streets, like a whirlwind turning things, tearing down the dark. That's where I release, and my heart starts to sing when I release. I let you take the lead when I release. You come close to me when I release. When I release, it's all.
What's up, everybody? We are live, getting right into it because we're starting mad late today. A lot of issues. Got the fellas with me this evening. Listen, we're going to talk about some stuff. You are watching Young Lion TV. Let's go.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young lion.
Yeah, happy 4th of July, everybody. We are back. It's Tuesday, July 5th, and we're at episode 158 of the Young Lion TV podcast. Appreciate for having everybody here this evening, all the fellas in the building. We got no production staff tonight, so we are just going to rock this out on our own. But I got Moan next to me here.
What up?
We got James
Right.
sitting in seat 5.
Back.
There he is.
His head is
with
cut
his
off.
head cut off. You might want to adjust that, Jake, a little bit. Yeah. But first, let's we got Stan and Jake sitting over here. Boom.
Yo,
What up?
What's up to the peoples?
gonna go
They're
yet.
rocking the Young Lion TV merch.
we're opposite of you guys.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Look, spy versus spy, opposites. Yeah.
Spy v5.
Yeah. But hey, we appreciate you guys who are here right now, everybody who's chiming in. Shout out to everybody in the chat already. Listen, we're going to get this thing rolling. Shout out to George. If you guys are watching right now, please share this video. Please hit that share button, hit that like button, and what? Oh, move those headphones, he's saying?
No, he's checking Jay. Huh?
Move the headphones?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, listen, guys, hit that share button, hit that like button. Help us get this algorithm in our favor because they do not like the things that we talk about. If you can see from the titles, it's a lot of controversial topics. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. And we want to touch on some stuff. We want to have some real conversations, some grown men sharing our thoughts and, you know, going back and forth a little bit, debating what we think. What is going on here?
I pulled it and it went off. Took the HDMI off.
Okay. But yeah, don't forget to show some love to what we're doing. If you want to support what we're doing, if you want to, be a part of the Young Lion Kingdom, this pride that we got building and growing. Shout out to the Patreon members that signed up last week. We appreciate y'all. Shout out to Mom in the chat. I hope everything is going on good in Texas, Mom. I haven't talked to you, but she just chimed in. But also we have a Patreon. If you guys want to become a member, we have a Patreon where you can sign up and you can become a part of the kingdom right there, and you can become a member on there and support what we're doing. We're going to have some exclusive content on there, some exclusive music, exclusive live streams, some exclusive words, some exclusive breakdowns, a lot of different stuff on there that people won't have access to just from the YouTube. And I'm thinking about when we get this merch like really popping and we start like coming up with better designs, some of the tiers will come with free T-shirts, come with stuff like that you can just get along with your signing up, so that you can have a little incentive bonus. Also, if you want to support, just throw a little donation up. You can get the Cash App. You can get the Cash App link. It's cash $, Young Lion TV. This is not working. This is not coming down. Let me hit that. Okay, boom. Just hit us on Cash App. It's $, Young Lion TV. If you want to just throw a donation, and you can help out the cause. We've got some equipment that we are trying to get, some new stuff to upgrade what we're doing. We're trying to move to a better location to help with the setup and everything, and make this thing really grow. So, other than that. What's up, fellas? Everybody's here. 4th of July weekend. Everybody had a good time. Everybody enjoyed our independence.
Yes, sir. Family.
Yeah.
Kept it simple.
Yeah. Did you do anything on the 4th?
No. I had you guys over on Friday.
Yeah.
And Saturday. No, Sunday was on my other side of the family.
Okay.
Just kept it quiet.
Yep.
Yeah. Sophia's not a fan of fireworks.
That's right. Yeah.
Jamie traumatized her.
How'd he do that?
We at what was it? What were we doing at my house?
It was Liz's bosses came. I can't remember what day it was.
Oh, we just had like a barbecue. Oh, that was for Memorial Day, right?
Memorial Day.
Yeah, that was for Memorial Day, and then we had one of those little. It was the little cheapy Target sparkler John.
He didn't like it at all.
To it. She went front row.
Sophia, because at first it's just like sparkles and they shoot up. So she was loving it at first, and then once the louder ones, when it was like pop 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 pop. Yeah, she wasn't a fan. She ran away. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That's family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Celebrating Independence Day,
What about you, Stan? What'd you do?
Beach.
You were at Ocean City?
Yeah, left before the fireworks though.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Beat all the traffic.
That's right.
Get on out of there for that craziness.
That's right.
He gave his son one sparkle. There you go. All right.
What's up? Shout out to Lena. She said, "Hey, missed you so much. We missed you too. Where you been at? We didn't see you in the last stream." Emma said, "Was a great weekend. Chelsea did host on Monday." Oh, really? We missed that, man. We didn't get no invitation.
Actually, yeah, we did.
We did?
On Facebook.
Was it on the soccer group?
No, on Facebook. She sent something.
I wasn't in that.
She sent me something that I saw.
Who? Oh, okay.
But,
Lena?
No. One of the girls that plays soccer with us.
Oh.
She we've been talking about like just doing like, because we've known these guys for years. We've been playing together forever. We're kind of like a little family. So they were talking about like hosting meals because there's so many different cultures there. You got African guys, you got Mexicans, Ecuadorians, Polish, Irish, English. So some island people play too. So it's like
all the foreigners and 2 Americans.
That would be a great party. Everybody bring a dish.
Yeah, that's what we were
country.
saying. Everybody bring something, and it would be fun. But yeah, I didn't get no invite. So, she said, "Guys, I've been going through it. I needed to rest. What's the deal? What you been going through? Let's talk about it." But yeah, 4th of July, was cool. We all hung out at Dave's, and he had some fireworks.
Yeah, we also
Yeah, we had a long
did like
trip.
5 flights in 3 days.
Long trip.
I was gonna say, how was that?
long, crazy
We'll tell you.
weekend.
Without getting into the
Yeah, I kind of told James
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
I feel
what-
it staying in a little bit.
Yeah.
just to skim over.
yeah, it was just
Another one of those stories.
yeah, it was just very unprepared, very unequipped people trying to do a show that we had to like, push our way through again.
Yeah.
A lot of craziness.
Yeah, it was a lot.
No
Was it
Zen
worse than
moments.
Jersey a few weeks ago?
Patterson, the one you came to,
Yeah.
way worse,
Yes,
Way worse.
Way worse. Yeah.
way worse, dude.
Wow. Back to Mike and the
100%.
Yeah,
Probably top 2.
yeah, it's
Oh.
probably it's in the
Wow.
running for the top, like the worst situation ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just leave it at that. But it came off, and we grew from it, and
Yes, we sure did.
we will just keep fighting the good fight. You know what I mean? What else we got? She said, "Should I call in?" Yeah, I can put a rendezvous link up for you if you wanna chime in. Let me see. But yeah, did you guys hear about the craziness though in Philly
Yeah.
at the Wow Wow
Yes.
Welcome America event?
Yeah.
Yes.
What did you guys hear about it? Because I really didn't get too many details.
I heard there was a shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Targeting police.
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, two police officers.
Shooting from a rooftop, I hear.
Yeah.
What I heard.
was that in Philly or was that? I thought that was the
that something else?
that was
Chicago.
Well, Highland Park.
Highland
Right?
Park.
Yeah. Suburb, Chicago.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So
Yeah.
Philly wasn't a roof then.
yeah.
I don't know the details. Leslie just told me about it. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but I know, it's kind of crazy, these things that happen. Didn't something happen somewhere else too? Besides Chicago?
I think it was Philly.
Chicago and Philly.
Yeah,
That's it.
Wasn't it Texas somewhere too?
Yeah, I thought there was one
there was
other.
one more, I thought. I don't know. Either way, it was another shooting, I think.
yeah. I don't know, but
I know all of these though that that's happening, especially the Highland Park one. The dude had like videos, and police were like on to him. He had videos of like he was like an artist making
yeah,
music
he was a
videos.
SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was making videos, and one of the videos were he was reenacting like a school shooting
Yeah.
Yeah,
in a classroom.
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah. Hold on a second. I'm trying to find some news on the Philly thing. I think I had it up here. Okay. I posted the rendezvous link. Yeah,
So that was the one where the two police officers.
Two police officers shot in Philadelphia after fireworks display. The area was packed with people enjoying the holiday. They were to see the Welcome America concert. Did you guys see the clip I sent you? Because Jason Derulo was the headliner.
Yeah,
Did you guys see the clip I sent you?
something about cheesesteaks.
He was talking about you look better than a Philly cheesesteak or something like that. Like
Did people go crazy?
they were screaming. And that's why that's why I sent y'all the tag like R&B culture.
Right.
Because to me it's like it's so like I mean I know we were a part of this before.
It's so cliche.
It's just cliche. Like I thought that verses would like expose some of this,
yeah.
but because the verses like because watching older guys still trying to do that,
Yeah.
and it becomes sad,
Yeah.
But
I think people just like making fun of people more than anything. Like,
yeah,
Because it's not about like, people get caught up. Oh, he said Philly cheesesteak. Yeah.
yeah,
He recognized
Yeah.
this.
And most of the times they don't even know who that is. It's just people just want to be seen.
Who Jason Derulo?
No, I'm saying like I think like a lot of the people who are screaming and yelling,
Yeah,
like not that they don't know who he is, but I think people are in the audience and it's their time to cut loose and have fun. So they're just reacting to who is that. Anybody can be on stage and
he
sing.
shouted out Philly. They get excited about it,
excited.
but it's like in my mind. And maybe this is because I know the inside baseball when it comes to these performers. It's like he's going to do that in every city
Oh, of
and just
course.
find the thing to insert in that
Yeah.
place. You know what I mean? And it works everywhere. People think like, oh, he really likes us.
to
You know?
us.
Yeah. But no, I wanted to show this. I saw this video of people fleeing the parkway. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But this to me, the current climate we're in right now, with a young family, I wouldn't even entertain
Going to one of these
going
things.
to one of these things.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't entertain it. Period.
Yeah.
But like
because
when, you know,
what
like,
good does it do?
right?
Yeah.
But if let's say it wasn't all these shootings and all these incidents weren't as rampant, to be out there, not with little kids, but like, you know, as the kids are getting older, to be out there and the fireworks, it is an atmosphere. But now this element of the unknown and the surprise, it's like that's exactly where someone who wanted to cause chaos would go.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
It's terror.
they're gonna go there and, you know, innocent people. You know,
Yep.
I don't know. I mean,
Wow. I didn't see a picture of him.
Yeah, dude,
That-
you speaking out of turn right now.
Yeah,
bro.
I'm sorry.
We talking about something.
He always does
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You do realize you're the only one that can see this.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what you're
So
talking
Jamie
about.
pulled it up.
Yeah.
You're about to pull it up.
Yeah, I was about to, because we're talking about these shootings.
Yeah.
She said, "I can't rendezvous from my phone. Mind dropping the link into YouTube, please." All right.
Yeah. So
So let me pull this up. So this is the guy from Highland Park, breaking Robert Bobby Crimo. Is it Crimo or Crimo? The third has been identified as the person of interest in the deadly mass shooting in Highland Park, Illinois, near Chicago. 6 were killed and dozens injured at the July 4th holiday parade massacre. And like people, of course, you know, immediately everyone's jumping on like, who's to blame for this? Is it Trump? Or is it the left?
Yes,
or is it
they
Antifa?
politicize it.
Immediately, bro. It's like
Yeah.
it just becomes that. It
I
just
heard-
becomes. Let's not talk about it until we can figure out who to blame.
Yeah.
So they're scouring all of his social media. That's why we're seeing the clips of his music videos and like all of his. They're trying to figure out who he aligns with. You know.
Right.
So like this picture, of course, is the first one that went viral. And then people were posting. Let me see. Come on, internet's bugging.
I didn't see what he looked like, but I did hear, of course they politicize it.
Yeah.
He's a Trumper. That's what I heard.
Well, then you got
But-
people
but then-
posting this saying he's Antifa.
Yeah, I
'Cause
look
he
at
had-
it. That's the first time I look at it.
Yeah.
Those pictures, I'm like, yo, he looked like he's Antifa.
But you can't say that because you don't really know. Like what?
Yeah, you don't know.
I mean, there's crazy Trumpers.
There are
right?
absolutely.
There's crazy. Like I went down a rabbit hole today, like hearing all these weird things that Trumpers were saying, like Trump and Kennedy Jr. for president.
yeah.
President. Have y'all heard about that?
That's
Like,
the QAnon crazies, man.
Yeah.
Like those are the people that think that Trump's gonna retake office in 2 months because
and John F.
Biden
Kennedy Jr. is not really dead.
Yeah, he's not really dead, and Biden is, like this is the craziness. But I just wanted to show y'all this because this person on Twitter, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Shoe on Head. No. Well, it's a prominent leftist Twitter person. She's like leftist libertarian, but she calls out the Democrats a lot, but she also calls out she hates Republicans too. So she's always just like posting, trying to be neutral. So she did a whole thread talking about because there's a bunch of right wingers posting the pictures you just saw, and then posting like fake stuff. Like they did this collage of right here where you see these images, and then you see a tattoo. And this is like a socialist symbol.
holding the rose.
Yeah. But, and then there's this picture of him with the FBI hat on, which could be a troll. Like, you never know. Like, this dude could be trolling. You know what I mean? But she broke down the fact that tattoo is just the first thing you see when you Google search socialist tattoo. It's the first thing that comes up. Yeah. So that's not, like, you can't, that's just someone put that in there.
You don't even know if that's his
tattoo. That's not his tattoo. It's not. It's not his tattoo.
How about the fact that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood?
Well, I'm just saying that showing how people are immediately trying to go to who's to blame.
On
But
either side.
that's my point.
Right.
Divide.
My point is that you just getting pulled into the mess of fighting against flesh and blood. There's other things at play here.
Yeah,
Like there's a greater.
absolutely. I mean, it's more
Even
about
the people who are actually doing stuff, sneaky stuff, and making plans. It's still a greater nefarious reason for that. You know what I mean?
Here's a picture of him with a a hat that has an A on it. And, of course, all the Trumpers were like, see, that proves it. That's the A for Antifa. And I think, like, his rapper name starts with an A. So, it's nonsensical.
Yeah.
And then, like, all this turned out to be a fake account that someone just made to get followers. You know what I mean? It's always stuff like that. Yeah. Just pointing. And then, of course, people were posting pictures of him. He was at a Trump rally looking like, well, where's Waldo? And there was other pictures of him on his social media, like wearing the Trump MAGA flag and stuff like that.
He just
but again,
seems
like
like he wants attention.
That's what
Like,
I'm
he's
talking
a
about.
Narcissist.
I'm gonna show y'all this too, because this was somebody that used to work with him, and he's kind of like breaking it down where he's like, all you people that are trying to like attach him to one cause or the other are missing it. Like he was just a lost dude who just like basically wanted attention, and he went down a dark path.
So what do they do? What do they do when a shooting happens, right? Like I'm not talking about the shootings that happened in Chicago, with the gang. They don't put that on the news.
Right.
But every time there's like a shooting, they always put the dude they show the guy, say his name.
Yeah.
So this guy right here, like, I'm looking at it, like all his pictures, he wants attention.
He wants attention.
So he wants fame. So maybe, the psycho in him is like, all right, I'm going to push it to the max, and this is how I'm going to get recognition.
I'm going to get fame.
Because they're going to...
His name is X'd in history forever.
Yeah.
Right.
Stop using his name.
Right.
Yeah.
The incentive is to stop using their name.
But that's the nature of humans.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the nature of humans is to judge.
Yeah. I can't help. I mean, I have no proof of this, but I just, in a suspicious way, like, I feel that some of this is like there's something behind
something
this.
Deeper.
Because it's like, as soon as it happens, they have all this footage. He has a profile. He's this. He's all. It's like,
and it's just like the Uvalde thing. It's like,
Yeah.
how does this kid get access to all these weapons?
Something doesn't add up here.
Right.
And I can't help but like go back in time when in the 1920s and the 30s and when all of these things were happening, there were cartoonists that was like they had whatever they were suffering from. There was a cartoonist or some sort of illustration of what people feared. You know what I mean, whether it's the Cold War, whether it's the world wars, or whatever it is, or it just feels like something here is these weird young men who all happen to have profiles posting all their weird stuff, and all of a sudden when it happens, we know everything about them. Know nothing about them before, but all of a sudden now we have all this information on them.
Yeah.
And most of them are already known.
And it's all readily available.
By law
Yeah.
enforcement.
And this guy is another one and why are all these dudes like suffering from like mental illness, depression? They're in like these very weird chats that always have federal agents in them.
Yeah.
And there's a video. I saw a clip of him like making a YouTube video, and he's talking to the camera, and he goes and he says hello to his FBI agent, like he's like,
but don't you feel like
I know you're watching me. You know what I mean?
But don't you feel like again? I have no proof. I'm just saying, like, don't you feel like part of the bigger plan is to look? He was just a crazy guy, and he was on to don't research and don't go any further. This is it. This is what they are, and stop.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of it is to, make them crazy, but also to attach them to an ideology because
We could use it.
Yeah.
He could use it to
we
push
can
the
use it
narrative.
to push the narrative that, because think about it, for the left, they want to attach it to Trump so bad because it's like anything that we can do to show that this is the type of people that vote for Trump, it makes
And also to try to get some gun laws passed.
Yeah, well, they don't. They just need someone to do it to push that.
Yeah.
But if they can attach it to Trump, that's a double win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're still going to push the gun thing, no matter if it's Trump or not. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a double win because they're going to go after the people with the guns that are Trumper. You know?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
They take the
How they
guns
tie
from
it
them.
all together.
And that's the other question is like, why aren't we asking the FBI? Are you guys in these chat rooms? Like, why are you not reporting who these people are?
Yeah,
Right.
why are we finding out about this after the
After
fact
the
that
fact.
y'all like this person was under investigation and nothing was done? Like we keep finding this out.
I mean, we're talking about the FBI. The same FBI that had Hunter Biden's laptop,
Yeah,
way before the
Yeah.
election.
same FBI that had people all up in the January 6th thing, and
Michigan.
Yeah.
Governor.
Yeah.
What is it?
yeah,
Whitney?
yeah.
Gretchen
Most of
Whitmer.
them, almost. I think there was only like 3 people that weren't federal
weren't-
agents
yeah.
in that whole plot.
Yeah, and that's why that case is falling apart.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but let me
I
show.
mean, they push what they want to push, though, dude. Like, you know, Jake was saying they push the gun, but I mentioned, like, you know, gun violence happens all the time in Chicago.
Well, that's what they were
when it's-
saying about this, because he had a weapon that is illegal in a state that has the strictest gun laws.
He bought it legally, though.
How did he buy it legally?
I don't know if it was from his state or
How old is he?
another state.
22.
He's 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was his home state or.
I don't know either, but I wanted to show this this video Moan was talking about. This is one of his music videos. Oh, let me fix this real quick.
Yeah, but even speaking of the gun laws, Jersey, stupid Murphy banned 50 caliber rifles, but who has a 50 caliber rifle?
Yeah.
You just want to ban them to ban them.
Yeah.
And look what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's virtue signaling.
Yeah.
because no one owns them.
Yeah, only a few people. Like
Yeah.
gun enthusiasts.
Where did it go?
Yeah. I mean, it's always big headlines and they start talking about gun laws, you know, when it's doing 2 things at once. When it's, you know, it's the inner city crime and stuff like that. These politicians, I don't ever see them, you know, doing a press conference talking about handguns, which is most of
Yeah, the
the
weapons used,
mass shootings.
In the streets.
Yeah.
Well, they don't label it as mass shootings when it's
Gang violence.
Well, it's I think it's two. What is it? Two or more is labeled a mass shooting.
Yeah, but that happened just over the weekend.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
It's not a mass
I mean, I think more than anything, it has to show that there's a breakdown in our communities. And you know, you look at a lot of these cities, and it's most of them are Democrat run, and you see that it just gets worse. Like, but then on the other side, like I like that Republicans don't want big government, but where's the community also?
Right.
Like, where's the? And I know it's there, but I'm just saying there has to be more. Like, there has to be more helping one another. You know,
Or you
caring
mean
for
like
one.
the programs to help people, like
Whether charities, whatever, like things to help people
Yeah.
that are gonna work. You know,
Yeah.
In a way where. Not just that, but also like holding our communities accountable, holding people accountable. You know, who-
But they used to have those programs though. They used to have like after school programs, sports programs, even the trades. They used to have a lot of that. Even in
Yeah.
the Democrat run city, a lot of them got canceled.
yeah,
A lot of that, you know, budget cuts and stuff like that, you know.
yeah. But even like just families holding themselves, you know,
Accountable, yeah.
holding each other accountable. Like nobody,
Does
your
that anymore.
neighbor right next to you, people don't talk to. You
Yeah.
know? And because
Yeah.
a lot of times, especially in the city, like you're afraid because it's like
Yeah.
I don't know what they doing. I don't know what they got.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's been pushed. I always tell Jamie this, you know, when we talk. I think it all began in the late 80s, early 90s when the programming, the daytime talk shows promoted a certain fear, which was avoid everybody, rapist, murder, racism, and those things do exist. But what they did was you had the 15 shows all saying the same thing. You know, the neighbor next door that murdered this person. Those are rare. They happen, but they're rare. But when you have 15 broadcasters almost saying the same thing, you know, it's like going into a theater and shouting out gun. Everybody's going to run. So think about that time. When I moved to the United States, I came from a relatively simple culture. When I came here, it was a lot of fear. Even my uncle would tell me, don't go outside and avoid people and don't do this. So I was already, while coming here, fear was already put into me. So I can only imagine American society where in the 90s, there was no correction. Like whatever a talk show host would say, there was no recanting. That you just believe what they said. Because I remember a lot of people started saying, "Hey, don't avoid strangers," and all these kind of things. Which you should, teach your kids to be careful. But it placed a fear on people to not interact, and and then of course, like that's the era of video games. So it was a lot of these young men stayed at home, and these games just got better and better. So these boys just had something to do.
Right.
I think without the video game, most of these young men would venture out and start developing. But now they can be friends with like whomever.
Yeah.
And if you have some
isolation.
Yeah, if you had somebody who wanted to indoctrinate young people, build a chat room, and you can slowly put in ideas there.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like that's what a lot of them are doing. Is the chat rooms.
Yeah.
Did you get it up, Jimmy?
Yeah, I was posting the rendezvous link.
Courtney said it's for their own narratives and plans. In Philly, they cut a lot of money from after-school programs.
Yeah. They've been doing that.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of after-school programs.
Yeah.
Music programs. Like you said,
Trades.
trade programs.
Yeah. Even boxing. Mike Tyson talks about this all the time. Mike Tyson said that the Boys and Girl Clubs after school, that's where he got involved in boxing. And a lot of the former boxers would go down and help young boys be disciplined, But when you take those things away in lieu of budget cuts or whatever it is, you have a 15-year-old boy who's wayward. And it's not just the inner city, because any young man that without guidance can be.
Yep.
Yeah.
It can happen in Wisconsin too. Maybe not as quickly, but it can happen there. Any young.
Well, you're starting to see it.
Yeah, they're being affected by this.
School shootings. Like,
Yeah.
it's in a different way,
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a disconnect. There's
Yeah.
a lack of responsibility even for our kids. Like, because come on, like if we're not aware, then that means we're not trying to see it.
Right.
Like, what are my kids doing? What are they
Well,
into?
that's part. I've heard many parents say, and some family members, some not. I would rather them be inside playing video games, or I'd rather them be in my sight than. It's almost like, because of the parenting style now is to almost have them avoid any sort of conflict, any sort of like pressure situation, anything that would make them feel uncomfortable. So they become.
Right.
They essentially build a world around them, and then when they see the real world, they can't cope. They can't handle it.
So what you're telling me is that they were already programmed
Yeah.
when COVID-19 came around.
Oh, it was easy.
So that
It was
people
easy.
would just be stuck in their houses
was
because people had already been programmed with their kids.
Yeah.
Because of fear.
Yeah. Once you are comfortable in your environment, it just becomes habit at that point. And a lot of these young boys, they're frustrated because they know that if they go try to interact with their peers may not, especially girls, won't like the things they like, and they feel like an outcast. So they want to hurt. They want to hurt other people, innocent people, and get attention for it. I'll show you. And that's uniquely American in terms of that, like the mass shooting, the young men. I'm not saying it happens nowhere else, but it happens here a lot.
That third mass shooting was outside the U.S. It was in somewhere.
Denmark,
It was
right?
Denmark.
Yeah.
Where guns are
Denmark.
banned.
That's right.
And
I forgot about that one.
confiscated.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was a crazy story. But yeah, there's definitely something going on with the younger generation, the psyche of young, isolated men, especially, that don't feel like they belong. Because there was another post from him. He actually had a song talking about that, like basically saying what he was going to do and saying like, he has nothing to live for. I'm trying to find this stuff.
Right.
I don't know. I lost the page that I had, and I'm trying to find it. So y'all keep going. I'm going to find this.
I think it has to do with also I think this is universal, that men have that natural, innate desire to be respected or honored in a way. And when you're not receiving that in any way, like, you're going to demand it. That's like where I think men can get hurt the most, and especially weak men. They they search for that, and when they don't receive it, you know, I'm gonna make you pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all of that in a natural way, all of that gets sorted out by boys on the playground or in school, right? Where I'm not saying bullying is good, but I'm just saying that in the world of anti-bullying, boys discover hierarchy earlier than girls do. So in a playground, you discover who's the fastest, who's the more athletic, who's the one that can talk the best. All of that is sorted out. So if you take that away and they don't know, and their personalities are being formed online, when they go out into the real world and try it and they fail, they feel, you know, I'd rather stick with the online profile, because now you can create a persona for yourself. You know, you can
Right.
Can be. That's why the metaverse is.
Yeah, you can. You know, we males sort that out right away. Once we start playing a game, or we're playing soccer, or we're playing basketball, we're playing something, we see who's the fastest. We understand right away. Oh, wow. So there's value attached to what your gifts are, you know. But
Yeah.
online,
Superficial value.
yeah, it's superficial, but it's still part of the functioning of who's who. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
You know,
It's like getting on stage and singing. You can do it for the wrong reasons.
Yep.
right,
And you get
right.
you feel self-worth.
We can have a versus. See who's better.
Right.
Here, I found this. I found it now. Let's play this real quick, just to give you a little insight into this dude. Like, because even his own boy was saying how he was just lost. You know what I mean? We're not hearing this. Where's that coming from?
Freddie Jackson show.
I have no idea where that's playing from.
I think Brandon posted a clip. Did you?
Did I what?
I don't know if you clicked on his Instagram.
No. I don't even have Instagram up.
That's why we need production, guys.
Stuff is just being.
Yeah, but I think that could be one solution is stop using their names. Just call them John Doe.
Stop giving them
Yeah.
fame.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, that's,
use their names in the
Yeah,
official
but
capacity.
You
but-
talking about the media?
yeah.
Yeah.
The media ain't gonna.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But they're responsible. Man.
They are.
You're right. Yeah,
I
they
agree.
want the fame.
but
Yeah.
that don't matter if they don't take responsibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
But that's why though. Like
It is.
it's they're doing it for attention. Especially when I saw that. Like I thought that before, but it's like
But why-
when I saw all those pictures that Jamie was scrolling through, I'm like, he's searching for attention.
but why are people searching for attention so that they can be honored
Yeah.
or that they can be loved?
Like what you were talking about.
Yeah. So even more than that, like he needs what he's missing, you know, and if there's no examples in the community for that, then you miss it. And if you're afraid to be that because you don't want to offend somebody, then people miss it.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it takes people like I was thinking about, like, you know how they always use like the bully and the stealing the lunch, right? So if that kid keeps giving that bully his lunch money, what happens? The bully just keeps coming back
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stealing his lunch. The bully doesn't respect him, but not only does the bully not respect him, the people around him, like, right? The bully keeps upping the ante, right? So people start disrespecting him, or they feel uncomfortable around the kid that's being bullied. So, you know, it creates like this weird thing. But if that kid stands up, even if that other kid is way too big, but he stands,
Yeah.
you know, and he's like, no, I'm not giving it to you. I don't care. You know, if he stands, it changes things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it shocks. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, really? But not only does it change things for the relation between the bully and the one who's being bullied, it changes how people see him. Right? That's what it's about standing.
Yeah.
Like if you just stand and you're integral, it changes. how people see you, right? Women are attracted to that. Women at their core are attracted to men who are honorable, right? It's just that they a lot of times.
How you gonna tell them what women are attracted? Nah.
I mean,
But another element of the bullying thing, though, is I think a lot of times people are afraid of the bully turning their attention to them, so they won't stick up for you because they're afraid too.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times it's like they're afraid that if I say something to the bully, then now I'm in the crosshair of him.
Right.
So I'd rather you get tortured. You know what I mean?
But if that person stands,
Yeah, of course.
it shows them
Yeah.
it's possible. You know, it
Yeah.
shows them
Yeah.
like, oh.
But it's like what we were talking about before when we say, hey, listen, the police culture, we know there are tons of good cops. There are good men and women who are police officers. But the ones that let things slide or hide things is what ruins what the police, the imagery of the police is. Because if you don't stand up and say, look, this is wrong. I can't remember his name, but I've talked to Jamie about this before. It's a Florida police chief, older white guy. And he goes on Facebook Live. He goes on all social media and he airs out anything that happens, good or bad, positive or negative, whether it involves the police or not. He'll even talk about the guys he fired, how they got fired. He never hides anything, whether they were stealing money, they were caught drinking and driving, and he chastised his own, and he's setting a precedent. He says that. He says, listen, if you're going to work in this department, you have to be held to a certain standard. But a lot of police departments won't do it because of fear of embarrassment or the unions or the code that they have.
Yeah.
It's like this. Like it's
nepotism, really. Like,
nepotism. It's like, if you're a father or you're a parent and you're telling other people how to discipline their children, and when your child does something, everyone looks at you and you make excuses. You actually don't do the damage to the community. You did the damage to your own. Because if the child see you making excuses for him, they're like, all right, I'll up the ante. May not do it even willfully, but eventually, when you're not looking, they'll take a bigger chance because they know that mom is defending me.
yeah, but
You
but
know?
it also affects the community too, because
Yeah.
once they find out
Yeah.
how weak you are,
Yeah.
integral wise, like,
Yeah, you lost all respect.
yeah,
But the damage is while you're trying to protect the image of your kid, you did because you just set a spirit of rebellion on that on your own, because they're gonna realize, oh, mom, dad was gonna, I remember when I used to catch shoplifters for a living. If you were under 17, we would try to cut you a break depending on how much you stole. In New Jersey, if you steal over 200, that's a felony, right? We don't want anybody, because that's on your record. But if you stole a couple of things, we would call the parents. A lot of times the parent were more angry at us that we caught their kids than they saw the benefit of us calling them. Because we would call and say, hey, Mr. So-and-so, we picked up your kid for shoplifting. We'd like you to come in. And a lot of times all we're asking is just pay restitution, or because a lot of times they damage the clothes. They would pull the security tag and ink would get everywhere. So we're just asking to pay for it. And when people steal, they're not going for cheap stuff. They're going for the expensive
they
stuff.
want. Yeah.
So we would say, listen, we could call the police or you just pay for it. Well, when someone sees a bill for like $300-400, they're not looking at that as, well, this guy's trying to help me out. They look at it as, I have to pay this bill and I don't want to. And then they start defending their kid. How do you know? And
right.
so and then the kid starts getting strong because they're looking at their mom or dad defending them. So their attitude is they're even more animated and amped,
Right.
And a lot of times in that moment you could see where that kid is like, oh,
Right. I think that's a lot of the mama's boy, like,
Can do no wrong.
yeah, that happens, especially, and I hate to say this, but like, especially in urban cultures where the fathers aren't there.
you gotta protect them.
Yeah, because now you have, even worse, you have a mother that's overly caring, and she doesn't want to look at what they're, or she feels bad, she knows some things, but it doesn't matter what the kid's going through. You still have to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
And what happens is they overcorrect.
Yep.
And now they're snapping on people.
Yeah.
You know.
We had to stop it. We after a while, our regional just said, "Hey, just call the police." because it was just so much back and forth with, with the parents. And we would just, as long as you had a video of them actually doing it, because we had CCTV.
I was just about to ask you.
Yeah, we would make sure we had video. We could never stop anybody. If you did and you stopped somebody wrongfully, you were fired immediately. But if it was a good stop, we had to have like 5 steps of we had to have 5 steps before, so we knew if we had somebody. But just watching parents defend them, and I'm like, I'm not trying to ruin. I'm trying to help you actually,
Yeah.
And just watching that happen, I was like, wow, man. A lot of times, it's the parent, like you said, overcompensating.
Yeah, and it emboldens the child.
It emboldens them.
Yeah.
They would come back in the store sometimes, and we would have to go escort them out because
Yep.
they felt like their mom or their dad defended them.
Yep, and what is it doing? It's destroying honor.
Yeah.
Honoring what you say. You mean what you say. If you don't mean what you say, you
Yeah.
disrespect it
Yeah.
because you don't really. It doesn't mean anything to you.
And then what it does too, to be honest with you, is this: the people who do care, it turns their heart hard. Like it did for me. After a while, I was like, I'm not calling, because on a Friday night at like 10 o'clock, some ladies cussing me out, calling me out kind of names. I got to go down to the police station. So after a while, I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm just gonna call the police and let the police, because once you call the police handles it now. You just have to show. They'll give you a court date. So what I was initially trying to do with trying to help this, I don't want to ruin this kid's, because they have a 3 strikes rule in New Jersey.
Right.
So if they're on their 3rd one, they're getting in trouble. And once you get arrested, once you're physically arrested, that's on your record forever. So,
Yeah,
but me trying to help, after a while, I just was like,
right, but the kids got to be held accountable. If they're not doing it at home and they're being coddled at home,
but see, I don't
they
know.
gotta
I
learn somehow.
My attitude was like, maybe they made a mistake. I was trying to help, and my manager, she was like, all right, it's up to you. She was a former military person. She's like, it's up to you. She's like, you do what you have to do. She's like, do you want to spend your Friday night at the police station having people threaten to beat? Because what'll happen is now the mom calls the dad, calls the uncle. So now what happens is they're threatening you now. I'm just a LP agent. I'm not a police officer. So now the parents, she brings everybody down, and she's, they want to kick me. So I'm like, after a while, I said, you know what? Everybody goes. Because I didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Nobody wants to kick the kid's ass for
For actually
Only one
for
time.
actually-
Only one time I saw a mom went ham on a girl,
Right.
and I was just like, only
Yeah.
one time she
but
went
it's
crazy.
funny, like people will, and that's a nepotism again, because think about, people will come and back you up no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's wrong, but that's my brother, or yeah, he's wrong,
Yeah,
but that's
it
my
happened
sister.
more often than not,
Yeah,
man.
man.
I mean, I'm surprised because you guys all worked in the mall, so I'm surprised you guys never saw me chasing people throughout the mall. When
I heard a story about it one time.
Yeah.
Because I never really paid attention over there, but I remember one time somebody came up to me like, yo, some dude just chased a guy out and like pinned him up against the wall or something.
yeah.
That's all. I don't remember.
Future brother-in-law right there. No, they've always been the one good thing not good thing, but I would say the one thing that I learned from that job was I've caught everybody from young, old, black, white, women, male, everybody, principal. I caught a police officer one time, off duty, not on duty.
Wow,
You
that's
know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me read some of these comments.
Okay.
Courtney says, leads back to accountability. Yep.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, but how, because even that saying accountability has become so cliche, and like even the meaning gets lost. Like, what do you hold them accountable for, right? A lot of times that even gets lost, and you can be too, like, even in church, like, accountability becomes some BS because you hold people to accountability to the point where it becomes overbearing.
Yeah.
You know,
Like a punishment, you mean?
yeah, or just like you're majoring on minors. You know what I mean? Like, so, not saying that accountability is, you're absolutely right, but even that, like, we have to come back to that meaning. Also, Donnie says Macy's was the worst. Yeah. Emmanuel says, or Emma says, bullying is some strange concept for me. So Emma's from Cameroon, you know. So again, he's not from here, so it's foreign to him, I guess. Us back then, you can't really bully someone. If you want to bully someone, be ready to fight all the time.
Yeah.
So I guess it was different mentality, different culture.
So people stand up for themselves.
But it happened.
pretty
I mean,
much.
I grew up in Trinidad, and it happened there too.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe not. Maybe here, it's amplified because of materialism. You know, down there, that's part of it, but it was more the racial element between the Indians and black, which I'm half black and half Indian. So
you're
that
in between.
Yeah, I definitely. I think it can happen anywhere in the world. The human beings. That's just part of fallen nature of man. You know.
Lena, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys. I just had
Okay.
myself muted.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
Hi.
Cool. All right.
Hello.
So I finally got this video up again. I'm gonna play it, and then we'll talk about it. Let me play this real quick. I don't know what that other audio was coming from.
dude, it's crazy.
Nothing's real. I just want to scream. Fuck this world. Living the dream. Nothing's real. I just want to scream. Fuck this world.
So you see, very, very dark, very, very just ominous.
Yeah.
super dark, super dark.
I think, you know, dude was definitely dealing with some stuff.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. He was definitely doing. What do you say? F this world.
He said, living the dream, nothing's real. Just want to say F this world.
Living a dream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What video? Who created that video? Was that the
That was the guy that shot
Buffalo?
the Highland in Chicago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Highland Park. He's the one that opened fire on those people at the parade, which was a crazy scene. I mean, but this dude clearly had problems. I mean, there's so many other like little videos, little weird stuff that he posted up.
You know what? Can I add something? I can go ahead.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I feel bad for people like that because it's so wild how it can really be preventable. They're telling you they will tell everybody exactly what it is that they're going to do or how they feel, but society is trained to ignore people like that or bully people like that or make those people a laughing stock. It's okay to make fun of their mental stability or instability or whatever may have you.
Yeah.
If they're categorized and put in a box of mental illness, they're just talked about and laughed at, and they could be really saying something and just ignored because they're passed to the side. Like, oh, they're just sick in the head. Don't listen to them. Don't listen. He does this all the time, or he or she does this all the time. They say stuff like this all the time. Just ignore it. They'll stop eventually. Is kind of, I think, the attitude that people take on. And then when something happens, it's, oh no, what we have done to have prevented this? Maybe listen, maybe pay a little closer attention to what they've been saying right in your face, but you'd rather ignore it because it doesn't line up with your idea of what reaching out and asking for help looks like.
I mean, I think from this dude's own words, I mean, watch this video right here. He
I'll see
This is
y'all
the one I was
later.
talking about.
Goodbye, Mr. FBI agent.
Can't see it.
Okay.
Oh. This thing is-
Guys, I'll see y'all later. Goodbye, Mr. FBI agent. Okay.
So that was a video he posted. I mean, and you can say, okay, maybe this guy was paranoid, delusional, or like but he was under the impression that the feds were watching him. You know what I mean? Based off
I was
of,
there.
and we know for a fact that a lot of these other, we know the Pulse nightclub shooter, we know that the Buffalo shooter and the Uvalde shooter were all like being monitored and all being looked at, and so it makes you wonder, like, why is nothing being done?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you think they should start offering like free therapy like in schools for these young kids, like something like how you have a nurse's office or
Yeah.
whatever? Like, don't you think that there should be some government initiative program where there's a therapist available?
Well, the therapist is usually the guidance counselor.
Supposed to be.
But
Supposed to be.
supposed to
We
be.
all know.
But,
we all
are
know
they
what they
yeah.
are.
are they a clinician though? Like to be able to psychoanalyze these people? Because like she said, you don't want to demonize them, but this could be catastrophic. You know what I mean?
Well, he was 22. You don't know.
I
he's-
have a thought, but I'm not sure if it's too controversial to say.
Say your thought.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for giving me pass. It's interesting that you mentioned. It's probably majority now. I don't have the data, so this is just speculation on my part. It's highly likely that most of these people who have done these like mass shootings probably are monitored. In my thought, this is what I'm saying might be a controversial thing to say. It's maybe they're America's version of suicide bombers. If they know they're being monitored and they're not jumping on it, saying, all right, let's stop this from happening, and then they let it happen, they're just America's suicide bombers.
I mean, it's an interesting, conspiracy theory to get into, because I mean, we talked about the Governor Whitmer. We talked about
how can they spin it? How can they use it?
we talked about
And it's
The Uvalde.
the Uvalde,
involved in it.
but also January 6th. Like, we know that they will send people in to agitate certain situations. We don't know why. We don't know why that guy.
But we saw glimpses of not particularly these kids, but during the riots where the one guy was running around encouraging people to break things.
That's what
and
I'm saying.
right.
Like January 6th, in even like the George Floyd
Yeah,
riots.
that's what I'm talking
Like,
about. The clip you showed.
Yeah, you see a guy who's like telling, like, remember the video that we showed of the girls who were giving that brick back to the woman, and we're like, why would you give this to him? Why would you? He's gonna get like this
Right.
woman's going around handing bricks out to people, like,
Right.
throw this through the window. You know what I mean? Or people are. What's going on? Oh, it's out of
It
focus.
wasn't focused, so
People are
I was saying click on it.
people are you could just say it, dude.
I know.
People are there's clear evidence, even with January 6th, the one guy that they were yelling Fed because he's
Roy.
I forget his name, but he's literally there's
Oh,
video
the
of him
old white
going
dude.
he's going around telling people we need to go into the building.
Make sure you go in.
Make sure you go in.
Don't stand outside.
Yeah, go in. Like, he's like going around telling people
And he's
this.
like,
Yeah.
oh, they might arrest me for saying this.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to say it anyway.
Yeah.
They're like, don't say it.
Yeah, they're like,
I'm gonna say
then they're
it
yelling
anyway.
like Fed. You know
Those
what I
are
mean?
Right,
those are
right,
probably
apps.
those are probably the people whose NDAs are up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there was there's known there was a ton of informants there. There was a ton of feds there.
And the same dude that ran the Gretchen Whitmer thing ran the January 6th thing.
Yeah,
But even there were Antifa there.
yeah,
Right.
there was.
that
There
were
was.
found out.
Yeah.
People.
That's why you can't just fall for just because he has MAGA gear on that he's on that
That's what I'm
side.
saying.
Like, it's
Yeah.
so
Like-
easy to get anything.
And he could be trolling.
Yeah.
You know, this is what the one dude, the BLM guy, had on the MAGA hat. and and then there's a video of him giving us. He was CNN interviewed him.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, that's like, even if he does, like, that's the ploy, like trying to. Oh, he had MAGA. It's all MAGA people are.
Right.
No,
Right.
that's not what it is. And
Don't
obviously,
fall for
that's
it.
what they're trying to portray with this stuff going on.
Yeah.
I mean, we know like people who support Biden aren't. You know what I mean? Like, they're not crazy.
Yeah.
Some of them might be.
Yeah.
Obviously, but that doesn't mean that you're just going to swoop a brush over everybody and
Right,
say,
right.
"Oh, if you supported Biden, then you're out your mind." No,
Yeah.
that's not what it is. Even though we might joke with Donnie or some other people.
Yeah. Because we still got to pay these high gas prices.
Donnie said that most schools offer that clinical counseling.
Oh, okay.
That's so, and he works in the school, so
Yeah. I figured that. I figured most schools, like
do.
especially at this point, like they do have like free counseling
that's
and
good.
therapy.
and they have it in colleges, but like even like the level of it,
Yeah.
and what
Is
like,
it effective?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you
Yeah.
think? You know what I
And-
mean?
and
Especially
Hopefully
for
it is.
a guy like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even I get that. Okay, so that's good that they're offering in school, but obviously, once he's done high school, all right, God,
Yeah.
like shouldn't it continue like from some sort of like a government program where this kid has this or this young person, whomever they are, has this available?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
You
number one,
well,
that's personal.
Yeah.
That's a
It's-
personal decision. You
that's
can't
hard.
Yeah, and
force
that's
that on
that's
somebody.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It depends
In a
on
free
if he
society,
wanted
yeah.
it.
But
Yeah.
what if it was available? Do you think it would help?
I mean, I'm pretty sure if he was having these issues, they have so many like suicide hotlines. They have so many things in place that if you are having like these dark thoughts, that there's places you can reach out to that are free, that are government
But
funded
you-
already.
but
But
you
you
have
have to
to
take
do
the
it.
initiative to do
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Right. That's where the
You have to admit,
responsibility comes back.
I
on
have
you.
this issue. Help me out.
Yeah, I don't think the feds that are watching him are gonna like be like, we're watching this guy, let's get him in therapy. You know, what I mean? they're not gonna do that. They're like this guy.
But then
Could
then
they?
they're
Yeah.
then they're
But-
watching. Then they know because they have to have data showing that these are the kind of people that are going to do this.
Yeah.
So then you're literally watching it happen.
And then when his name comes up on the
'Cause they can
background
use
check,
it.
how is it gonna get popped? Like
Yep.
there's something missing,
Yeah.
or it's on purpose.
Yeah. That's the two options, right?
There is another option.
What's that?
Involuntary commitment. But in order for that to happen, somebody has to make the call. Someone has to take notice of what's going on with this person, make a call, and then he has to go out, go get them, and take them to the hospital, and then have them involuntarily committed.
But
Right.
and they
That
also
happens too.
They
Yeah.
gotta leave that.
but to do that, it's such a like they have to be assessed and
Yeah, and there
shown
has
that-
to be like clear indication that you've already harmed someone or going to harm someone or yourself. You know, like they
That's
can't
why
just.
a lot of times when
Yeah,
people
yeah, they do have to do that evaluation process. Yes, that does happen. But if they're already in the system, though, if they've ever had a problem before,
That's true.
they don't have to evaluate you at all.
Yeah.
They'll just commit you like that if they want to.
Yeah, but if you, even if you said, "Hey, I want to kill myself," that's someone who, if you want to kill yourself, you're willing to kill other people.
Yeah.
You know.
They'll commit you for that.
Sometimes, not everybody.
Yeah.
Not everybody.
But not everybody. But I'm just saying, it's like there's a high possibility that if you're willing to kill your own self, you're not gonna. If you don't value your life, you're not gonna value other people's life.
Well, I mean, most times people that kill themselves, and I'm just, assuming. I don't think it's because you don't value life. I think you feel like you're a burden, or you just can't handle life anymore.
or
Right.
shame,
But you don't
or-
want to take
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pain out on other people. You just want to eliminate yourself from dealing with
Right.
things.
No,
anymore.
and I get it. I think with older people, with older people who commit suicide,
yeah,
there's definitely that feeling. But that feeling of a young man, specifically mostly young men who feel
Right.
rejected, and I want to show.
yeah, but that's
you,
something different. I don't think that in most cases of suicide that exists. This is like rare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you get these people that are like just like incels and loners and want to show the world something. You know what I mean? Like that's not. That happens in most cases when it comes to these people that do these heinous acts. But for suicide, suicide is probably the number one cause of death, especially for young people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, so I don't think that.
No, I'm just
in
throwing
most
out
cases-
ideas in terms of like someone speaking something that they have to have some sort of data showing that, all right, these people turn left
Yeah,
at
yeah.
this age. And
I
you know,
mean, prayer works, man. Like, and I'm just throwing this out there because, like, sometimes we get caught up in the weeds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like we can't assess everything and calculate everything that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Some things you can't do. You have to give it up to God. Like if we are to try to fix, and that's what we get caught up in a lot. Like, well, we could have did this, or we should. We're looking for solutions that are outside of God. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that we don't need solutions. We do, but at the same time, like from my perspective, when people are thinking these like going through these processes of thinking, this is coming from the outside speaking to you and you're believing it. You know, that's a spiritual force. Like that's what the wind or the spirit, that's what it talks about in the Bible. It's all about what you hear and what you accept.
yeah.
You
No,
know
I
what
agree
mean?
with you. I'm just saying that, you know, from the school standpoint, they're not gonna. You go and tell them that, they're gonna be like, what?
No,
You
but
know?
that's not even a point for them to know that. I'm just saying that that we can't get caught up into that.
Yeah, and I think he's saying that because he's saying like there's no way a therapist or a school or any of these systems can be effective in that way because there's no way to know how to address what everyone's dealing with. Like there's
Right.
You can
that's
hide
why
it.
that's why they're just constantly drugging everybody.
Right.
Because they never get to the bottom of any of these issues. It's just constantly keep coming and talking, and we put you on meds, and
Right.
you know,
You have to get to the root.
and
It's
that's
in
the other
the
thing is a
cause
lot
of
of
the
these
spirit,
kids
yeah.
are on meds. A lot of these kids are on these medications that, for some reason, seems to amplify the problem.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah,
And it comes from
right.
the spiritual realm. And
Yeah.
that medicine can't reach that realm.
No, it can only suppress
It
what
can,
you feel.
yeah.
Donnie said you can't make a person take help.
Yeah. Not in the free society. Well, the illusion.
Yeah. Which is a good thing because help is kind of subjective.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can say you're helping somebody, right?
Right,
And you're
yeah.
really doing them harm.
Right.
Yeah. They said that the help was 2 weeks.
Well, now they're saying that help. I mean, yeah, that's true. But I'm saying like they say they're helping people by drugging them. You know what I mean?
right.
That's their version of help.
Yeah.
We're helping you. Take
I mean, the
these.
whole Oxycontin
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
help until
Right.
it turned into a heroin epidemic.
Right, right.
You know?
Now fentanyl,
I was
even
going
worse.
to say that was the number one killer of 18 to 40.
Really? Fentanyl?
And then
Wow.
probably suicide is right under.
And see that started from
Yeah.
Oxycontin.
We blame
Overprescribed.
China because China is
The one bringing in the fentanyl. Yeah. Yep.
We're kowtowing to China right now.
China. China.
All right, let's go ahead, Lena.
I was just gonna add. I think that's kind of interesting that all the problems in America that Americans tend to suffer from, all the ailments, diseases, issues, mental problems, and all that. It's so funny that those issues are freely given. You know, the food we eat can give you cancer, and it keeps you sick. The traumatic situations that you kind of are forced into on a daily basis give you your mental trauma. Then they make you pay to help you get well, but they're not even helping you get well. They're treating it and keeping you in a state to you can keep giving them money to keep treating the problem that they gave you while they
Right,
tell you, but you know, you should realize how great you should be grateful for how much we help you. Look how we help you. We give you healthcare, we give you this, we give you that. But they failed to mention we also gave you the problem that you need to help us for the treatment for.
Yeah.
You know, messed up. Like that's so messed up to me. I don't even have to pay for therapy.
Because
You know?
we live in a fallen world. It sounds like the devil
messed
to me.
It's so messed up.
He's going to
It's
give
so
you
messed
a
up.
problem, and then he's going to give you the solution.
He already has a solution.
And you spoke about that, like in this country, how that operates. And I always talk about to you about like so many things that we deal with in this country. Even the concept of those are foreign to you because you grew up in a society where like these things don't exist. You know what I mean? Like you don't have as much mental. Like every now and then you'll have someone who you say that guy's crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you don't have the same issues of depression and mental illness and like a lot of these things that we deal with here, anxieties and stuff like that. Like maybe it does exist, but
It does.
it's not diagnosed
Well,
the
I think
same way.
So in these countries, I think the corporate structure and the corporate entities don't exist to push that, because once you have that, it's like you're saying, you know, there's no money in the cure. There's money in the medicine,
Right.
Whether it's therapy, whether it's like whatever
Right.
it is, you know, it's money there. You know what I mean?
Chiropractors.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah, exactly.
when you think about that, like, oh, I have depression, or I am depressed, I am this, I am that. Not to say that you're not, because you are, but
Right.
but at the same time, if you make that your identity
Right.
now, which is actually like, I would say, trying to use the right word, they want to convince you of these things now,
Yeah.
right? They want you to accept those things. Oh no, you're this, you're that. Like,
Realize that-
oh
yeah.
no, you're transgender. You know what I mean? Like, those are identities you put on yourself, and now you have to live that out. Like, don't call me a liar. You know, like, I have to.
Prove it,
This
yeah.
is my truth. You know, and I have to prove it. But it's really like, no, that's not who you are.
Yeah.
Those are just things that have come on you, but you don't have to accept them. You know, and now let's figure ways how we can work through that. The way I think, the only way is through God, but Jesus. But when you take that identity on, you can never take that identity off.
Yeah, Paul commented, said, problem, reaction, solution. Yeah, we talk about that all the time.
Yeah, and
Like-
Courtney said the same thing.
Yeah.
Create
you,
a
Lena.
vacuum, then you fill the vacuum.
Shout out to Paul too, man. Hey, if you guys want to jump on the rendezvous, hit that link. You can
Yeah.
get on there with Lena. We can all get on this conversation together. All right, man. I'm ready to move on from this topic. Let's go. Let's get to some. Let's get to some politics real quick. You don't want to?
Just hate it.
Okay, we don't have to. I mean, what do you want to? You want to get to? What you want to talk about?
I mean, that's up to you.
Did you guys talk about CERN already?
No, we didn't. That's a good point.
Who was it?
CERN. You guys hear about that?
CERN.
Yeah.
The weather.
The
CERN.
Oh,
The-
something different.
the particle collider in
Oh yeah.
What's the matter?
yeah, they just turned it back on today. First time in like 3 years or something like that. It's been off.
Was
for
it
3
today?
years. Yeah, today.
Right.
Today is the day that they turned
Guys.
it back on.
But I got to tell you something, because I talked to my son's father. We were talking about this yesterday, because I asked him, and that's weird that you brought that up, because he said it was something weird for him too. But yesterday was July 4th, right? Yeah. July 4th. In the morning, something so weird happened. Personally, to me, it was the weirdest feeling. It was between 11:56 a.m. and I remember I wanted to make note of the time, because I'm like, that was weird. It was so weird that I needed to make note of the time, because I said, well, let me look it up and try to look in the news to see if anything happened around that time.
Yeah.
Between 11:56 a.m. and about 12:01 p.m. on July 4th. All of a sudden, and I know I don't have medical issues. I don't have medical issues, and I was fine right before it happened, then fine right after it happened. But for just like a moment, everything was like, it was weird. I kind of got real dizzy, and it felt like I was like on some sort of drug or something like that, where it's just like my head was like this, and I was fine, completely fine. I'm like, what was that? I was like, that was weird.
Wow.
And that's why I was like, was it today that they did the CERN thing? Because I had a feeling maybe they did it a little bit earlier than they were supposed to, because that was weird. I didn't have any explanation for it. I was just trying to figure it out. And then when I talked to my son's father, like, that's weird that you said that. He said, because I actually ended up waking up pretty earlier than I usually do that day, and that was weird for me. Around the same time, he said he woke up at 11 a.m. And then between 11:56 and 12:01 p.m., I had that feeling, and it was just like, it was weird. It was weird. Very, very weird.
Traveling through the ethos over there, are you?
Stop.
Yeah, I'm trying to find an article on it. Can't find it, but
I did the same thing immediately. I tried to look up. I said, "Cool, what's happening in the news right now?" Only thing that I did find is that some big old storm happened in it might have been in India or some overseas country. There was like a big storm happening at the time, and there was a lot of breaking news in India during that time. But over here, nothing was. Couldn't find any news articles. I couldn't find any updates or anything like that, or anything of significance. But a lot of stuff was happening overseas during that time.
I don't even know
But
what you're
that's all I
talking
could
about.
find.
You
That
don't
was
know
all
what
I
CERN?
found.
You don't know what CERN is?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You never seen the big giant, like electron
clouds.
collider in Switzerland?
Oh, I think I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it never interested me.
They want the gas prices to and more natural disasters. Please, let's get these gas prices back up.
Yeah. Well,
I guess I don't care.
Up to where? They're already skyrocketed. My goodness.
yeah. So
Somebody said that gas
So
prices.
what does it do? Like
Oh.
why?
it basically opens up a portal to the upside down. Let's all the demogorgons into this world.
It's where the control man Prince talked about it.
No, it's a dude. I don't know. Maybe we could find like a video on breaking down what CERN does. But
There's a scientific research center that studies antimatter, energy particles, basically like universal studies, and basically like how to bend reality and stuff like that. And
that's what they're that's what they're looking into.
Yeah.
And I know that this current run of it's called the Large Hadron Collider. They just started it. Yeah, their page on Twitter just posted this 10 hours ago that it's officially started again. And this is supposed to be their strongest attempt ever. Like they're doing like their most powerful collision or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
and why?
And this is in Switzerland,
yeah,
not Russia.
no, in Switzerland.
No, I'm just saying Russia is. They always.
Why are they doing
That's the bad guys.
What's the why though? Why? What's the
I
point
don't know.
of what they're doing?
You know what?
Because
Research that and get back to it.
Have you guys ever seen that ritual they did at CERN?
Yeah.
We showed that on here before.
Yeah.
You're,
You don't remember that?
Now I remember. Now I remember.
It
If you-
wasn't technically at CERN,
It was like-
but it was close to
They
CERN.
No, it
they-
was.
Yeah, I think it
Jimmy.
was.
Jimmy.
They pretended like they were.
They
like,
did a human sacrifice
Human
ritual.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
No, that was for a bridge or a tunnel. It was near.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
look at the comments really quick. Paul made a really actually funny pun.
Okay.
It's,
It's pretty concerning.
Paul's quick with it.
Yeah, Paul's always on it.
That was great.
It's pretty concerning.
He's like, go ahead, guys, set it up. I'm right here.
Tee me up.
Set him up, knock him down.
Okay. Let's
So pretty much they just.
Let's watch this real quick.
What is this?
This is hold on a second.
The ritual.
This is the ritual at CERN.
Wait, what?
Yeah, someone filmed it.
So it's probably a different
Oh,
one.
let me see. Didn't come up.
We do rituals?
Didn't come up at the live stream.
That is concerning.
Someone caught it. Why is it not coming up? Come on, yo.
I know they had right in front of CERN. They had the vitch. Yeah.
Oh my god, no way.
Yeah. Here, I'll play it from the beginning.
That's really the place.
Someone was filming it from like far away.
Looks like a hotel. Oh my god.
Nothing weird about this here.
Where's Alex Jones when you
That's
need him?
Shiva.
Look, and then there's a woman there. They bring the woman out, and they do like a mock sacrifice. I don't know if it's like,
Was it a mock?
dude, we don't know because someone's filming this from like a cell phone from far away.
Hey, sweetie. You know that that's the god Shiva, right? God or goddess?
Yeah,
Shiva.
yeah. And look, she lays down on the ground.
Lays
This person has a knife right there.
They must have really did something if that person reacted like
The
that.
person reacted crazy. Like, I mean, that's
Or-
all we know.
Or it was fake.
Or it was fake. It's
I,
staged.
you know,
Scene.
Right.
They might-
Make it so that they can't see it.
Because it was too on the nose with the eyes wide shut, closed, and everything. Like, it was too on the nose.
Right.
But I did see
I
that
don't
before.
know, guys.
I do remember that
Yeah.
what you were talking about.
We showed that before.
I thought you were talking about the other one. You know.
Yeah. What do you think was going to happen? I think he's going to give him a massage.
Yeah, but they do have the Shiva
Yeah.
statue in front, which is weird.
That's 26.
Yeah, that's what's so hard now. It's like, even though it's, yes, this could definitely happen, there's so much like grandstanding now
Yeah.
that.
Well, here's an article from The Guardian saying it was a mock human sacrifice ritual. Like they were just, it was a joke. You know what I mean? Anytime you see the news trying to get out ahead of it kind of makes it a little weirder. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's CERN, dude.
Let's get off of CERN.
It doesn't concern me.
Yeah, you say that now. You don't know what they doing over there. That's the funny thing. Is people.
They're really gonna bring the upside down.
Yeah, that's what everybody says about everything.
Or Godzilla.
Yeah, the
Don't
lab
say-
in,
don't
the
say-
lab in China didn't concern us either, did it? Until
Those
2020.
when you're walking down the street, Moon, and you see another dude. Like, whoa, that
Right? We just was watching the
then you're gonna talk about it's not concerning.
No
Yeah,
Way.
I'm gonna be like, yo, all right, you take care of home. I'm gonna go do this over here.
I believe you would do that with your ultimate self.
Yeah, we were just talking about the No Way Home clip. They start opening up the multiverse on y'all. You know what I mean? And James from universe number 75 comes through. Like,
I need a helper, man.
he's all diesel. He's all diesel and in shape. And Shaniqua's looking at him like, wait a minute, why didn't I get that, James?
So you're saying in fact.
Guys, I have to tell you something really quick. I'm sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
gotta bring this up because I have to tell. So I have to tell you something, and I think you guys could appreciate it. Are
Okay.
any of you into the Marvel universe?
I'm
know
not
about it.
I'm not really, but these guys are.
Has anyone watched WandaVision?
They
Yes.
have.
Do you remember where WandaVision was set?
In New Jersey.
Yeah.
Westville, New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
No, I think
He
it's
was
West.
like
I think
serious.
it's
was
West
West-
Westbury or something like that.
Westville.
It was.
Westville. Was Westville, Moon?
Not
What's-
no.
show?
I feel like it was up north.
It was
show?
okay. It was
Wait,
Westville.
isn't Westville by us?
Yeah.
I don't think it's.
No.
Let's
No,
look
no,
it
no.
up.
It wasn't. It was okay. Cause
You see my
Westville.
face?
Yeah, I see your face. But Westville is not a place, and I know what you're talking about because I have a friend who lives in Westville. Okay, maybe it wasn't Westville. It was West something, but apparently it doesn't exist. 'Cause it's not
Westview.
actual-
Westview.
Westview. I'm sorry, okay, Westview.
See?
My
Both of y'all wrong. You said Westbury.
know.
You said
I knew it.
Westbury.
I had the correct. Anyway, West. So listen, I looked it up with my curious little self. Decided to go look this up, right? And I wish that I hadn't. I wish I didn't do it. I wish I did not do it because I went and looked. I got curious and I looked at an actual map of this place, Westview. There is a place in Westview called Wanda Canoe. Place called Wanda Canoe. Not too far away from a place called Marcel Studios. Marcel Studios.
Right.
Okay.
And I freaked out. Because Westview been there. WandaVision is new. Maybe.
Right.
And I also have some theories. Have you guys ever looked closely at Google Map images? Or have you ever done Street View and kind of like tapped and just traveled down streets? Have you ever
No.
done that?
I don't have
I
that
have-
much time
I
in
don't.
my day.
When I was
No,
going
it's
places,
just,
yes.
I listen. I do a lot. I do a lot of research and I get very curious. So I do these things sometimes, and I noticed in certain places. I don't even know if I should be saying this, but I don't care because I say whatever I want. And sometimes it gets me in trouble, but I'm still going to say it because I have to get this out because it's like it's messing with my curious little mind. There are some spots if you tap and you just keep traveling down Street View. Some spots are still stuck in different years. There are some spots that have not been updated for years, and which makes me wonder, well, why not? What's that about?
Because they
then I
probably
asked-
haven't. They probably haven't sent the trucks down there to get the
But why?
3D imagery.
But why not? Because right after, if you keep tapping, all of a sudden, oh, we're back in 2021, or oh, now we're back in 2016. Wait,
Right.
now we're in 2022. Now we're in 2019. Now we're in 2022 again. So why?
So it's
Of
Google
course, I'm
Maps.
curious about it. I have a question. Why?
Google Maps
And
is a
then-
multiverse.
Maybe because WandaVision.
It's a fake place.
It's made up.
No. WandaVision was her manipulating,
Imposing
the
her
airwaves.
idea onto people's minds.
So that and people, whoever would go into the place wouldn't come out basically unless she put them out.
Yeah.
And they were in different years. They were in different eras and different times. And then I was like, the only reason why that freaked me out was because when I looked at Westview, because the place was called Wanda Canoe. Why did they decide to set WandaVision in Westview, where Wanda Canoe is, not too far from Marcel Studio?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's weird, isn't it?
You down?
I'm sorry.
I think you stretching, girl.
And maybe you're not, but you're in your rabbit hole.
She's
You in the rabbit hole,
yo,
girl.
she's us from about 8 years ago when we first started looking at the Washington D.C. and all the imagery and all that stuff. Like she's going down the.
It's interesting.
It is interesting.
I got curious, and I freaked myself out. You know how like sometimes you unintentionally gross yourself out and then you can't eat your food no more? That's basically what I did by looking at that. I was like, I wish I looked. Now I don't know what I just looked at.
Paul said Romans 1:30 speaks on inventors of evil things. CERN seems to fit the bill. Yeah. And then he said, wait, Wakanda is in New Jersey?
Not Wakanda.
All right, let's move on. All right, what are we getting to? Are we getting to your
Jake
topic, Jake?
I mean, we can try. I don't know. If
It's
we're gonna
already
get to that.
10:20.
Yeah. Well, we started late.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how do you want to do this? You know, we didn't get to none of this stuff because we had them issues. We didn't get to nothing.
Sets it up.
I mean, I just wanted to talk about since the Roe v. Wade thing. We talked about abortion last week.
Yeah.
One of the main things that I saw from a lot of people had to do with the medical issues that were concerning people. That were concerning to people, and just to put that to rest and kind of bring some clarity on that, because I know people are conflicted, and that's where I think they use a lot of wizardry on people to try to get them to say, yeah, women's rights because women deserve health care, when you're right, but it's just like Black Lives Matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Black lives do matter. Yes, women do deserve healthcare. These are all true things, but you got to change your perspective on how you see it, because it could be a different way. And when you're focused on one thing that they put for, like women's healthcare, here, this is what it is,
Fight for this.
right? And then you see it that way, and you can only see it that way. So you're like, yeah, you're right, but there's another way you can see women's healthcare. So this kind of talks about a bunch of that stuff, and I thought it was very interesting. So this is a debate with two Christian women. I use Christian loosely in this instance.
Okay.
Who's the other
of
one?
the mother. I mean, there's a common.
I guess the other one is
So two Christian.
is
So it's what?
She's
pro-abortion.
Pro-life, pro-choice.
pro-life, pro-choice. She one with the black hair, pro-life,
Pro baby killing and
dirty
anti-baby
blonde.
killing, right?
Yeah. Let's use the proper words. Pro-abortion, anti-abortion.
Okay, there
Pro-abortion.
I hate that
anti-abortion.
pro-life, pro-choice. That's wizardry in itself.
you're right.
Pro-abortion, anti-abortion. All right, here we go.
And what about the extreme health risk of the mother? For extreme health risk of the mother, I mean, there's a common misconception in the abortion debate, promoted by the pro-abortion side, that abortions are medically necessary. That you
See, I already like her. She's saying pro-abortion. She's using the right terms. She knows.
need to intentionally end the life of that child in order to somehow provide medical care for the mother. And I work with thousands of medical professionals who say adamantly, no, we can care for them both, and we should. And if we want to improve maternal mortality rates, if we want to improve the condition of pregnant women in this country, we will not turn to knee-jerk having an abortion in the pregnancy kill the baby anytime there's a health issue or crisis. We need to work on addressing what are the underlying conditions that woman might have that is making her pregnancy more difficult. How do we accompany her and have the right checkups and routines in place to ensure that we're catching something in time? There's a lot you can do in the medical process that doctors do, pro-life doctors, to care for both patients, and that's what I would advocate for.
Okay, Brenda, response? I mean, I agree. Abortions in later pregnancy.
Just real quick to
Are
give you a
not-
background on her. So she's not like pro-abortion. She believes after 21 weeks that the baby, it's a baby.
Okay, so
Right.
she's pro-abortion up to 21
Up
weeks.
to 21 weeks.
Right.
Yeah. So, and she's like, she gets pushed back so much. But I just wanted to clarify that
Okay.
when she talks.
Okay. Which is, that line is, that's pretty much almost everywhere where it's, accepted. 21 weeks is
Late.
that's late.
Yeah.
That's late.
Right.
Yeah.
The whole Mississippi thing that brought the whole Roe v. Wade under question was only for 14 weeks.
Yeah.
14?
And then the heartbeat
14.
bill was what, 8 weeks? Something like that.
I think so.
Yeah.
So that's
And
probably
then
the
other
strictest-
countries that
Yeah.
Most
It's-
European countries is 12. Right?
Yeah.
it's 12.
Okay.
I don't want to get. I just wanted to,
Okay.
I mean, they cause so much pain and strife and heartache, and I've heard those stories, and I've talked to those women, and it's truly a horrific thing. So yes, I mean, I agree. Our healthcare system and the way we take care of women and the babies should be top priority, and I'm sure that it is in many instances. I think, again, there's not like a nefarious group of people that are just like super excited about killing babies. There are some people that go to that more
That's not true.
too quickly. There are other people who do absolutely everything they can to do exactly what you said. I think it runs the gamut. Humanity runs the gamut, but ultimately, I of course agree with everything you just said.
So do you agree then?
Oh,
that-
not with the rape stuff.
Okay. Yep. So, so then you can talk about that. Go ahead.
Oh, just to respond, you've mentioned this a couple of times, this nefarious group of people
Yeah.
that doesn't exist that, are maybe enjoy or, are profiting from the violence of abortion. And I can tell you that I don't know about the term exactly nefarious, but there are certainly very ideologically driven, violent practitioners of abortion. One of them who's behind bars right now, Kermit Gosnell, because he's not behind bars for killing the child right before birth, but he's behind bars because some of these babies would be born. And this happens in late-term abortion. A child can survive the abortion attempt because labor has been induced, and before the abortionist has had a chance to complete the abortion, the baby can be born. And Kermit Gosnell is behind bars because he not only killed one of the women of his patients, but he killed multiple children after birth. So there are abortionists. I've been undercover with some of them. Our team has been undercover with some of them who are practicing in this country legally, who are laughing about how they dismember the child, who are talking about how they use their toolkit to dismember that child, talking about how the child, it's like getting the child run over by a Mack truck.
But we remember this from the first Project Veritas video I ever saw was with the people undercover at Planned Parenthood talking about this stuff, talking about how they sell the organs off, they dismember these babies, talking about it like it's just fun for them,
Yep.
And this is a true story about this doctor who was performing these things and is in jail right now. Had to go on trial because the nurses were talking about how he would snip the spinal cord of the babies. They would be crying.
They'd cry and that you would hear them.
Yeah, you would hear these babies crying and gasping for air, and then they would kill these babies. Yeah.
During the abortion. I mean, really gruesome, graphic things. This is not some shock language from a pro-lifer. This is from the words of abortionists themselves. And I would encourage people to look at Live Action's Inhuman Investigation, which is exposing the actual abortionists themselves in their own words, talking about their abortion procedures that they're committing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no doubt in my
What were you
mind.
saying?
I can take a lot, but watching that stuff,
I can't.
Like I can watch,
pretty
beheadings,
gruesome stuff.
gruesome stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, man, I can't. There's
Even like,
something.
have you ever seen the Silent Cry documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You ever seen that? Dude, that's tough to watch. because of the modern like ultrasound imaging, you can see the abortions happening and these babies trying to get away from the tools. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's gruesome.
They're fighting
man.
for their life.
They tear them apart literally, limb by limb. Tear them apart, and then they burn them and disintegrate them the rest of the way with a solution.
Right.
Disgusting.
Yeah,
and it makes you want to throw up. Like that's how can someone, if someone saw that and knows that, how could they want to do that?
Because they don't know, and it's purposely being held from them. You know.
Some people know. I just heard. Who's that dude? He has one of those names, like a Ruslan name, like in that area. He's a liberal dude. He said that he's for post birth.
He has a Ruslan name,
like that type of name.
Are you talking about Hassan Piker?
Hassan.
Yeah,
that's the
name.
He watching Ruslan.
Yeah. Ruslan talked about him.
He talked about him.
That's Cenk Uyghur's nephew.
Yeah. That's where I seen that.
Yeah, he's very popular on Twitch. But yeah, he came out. You know, we showed that video of Vosh last week talking about how he doesn't see any real argument for why having child porn in your possession should be illegal. And now you see Hassan Piker, who's like, they both have the same like views. He's talking about how he believes that a child should be able to be aborted after birth. You know,
that's not an abortion anymore.
Yeah,
it's murder.
It's infanticide.
I mean, you're killing the baby either way,
it's
but
murder. It's murder.
Would
regardless,
would a person who's doing this, would they be considered a serial killer in the sense of like
I think
a
so.
baby is being after it's born?
I think so. I think you should be considered that. You know,
if a murderer gets charged with double homicide,
if something is crying and it's obviously alive,
yeah,
you know,
right. But that's why, like when that one governor from Virginia, when they asked, Northam, when they asked him about that, and he was like, "Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure the baby's comfortable, and then we're gonna have a discussion with the mother to talk about what to do."
You know what it is
with
too. I think we're destroyed for lack of knowledge, right? So none of us, well, not none of us, we know, but a lot of people just are very are unaware of the foundation of Planned Parenthood and the eugenics movement. So over time, the word eugenics and birth control all got swapped out with Planned Parenthood. So it and women's health. So it sounds good.
But that's what they do with everything, right? That's what we were just talking about, that the wizardry of language. If you can veil something under something that sounds good, sounds like something you should love, Black Lives Matter, sounds like something you should love, women's choice, my body, my choice, these things. It's like you veil all of the insidiousness of it under this banner of like, well, I have to agree with that. You know what I mean?
Because you're not going to disagree with women's health.
Yeah.
Right? But eugenics, if you looked into what it was.
Yeah, and who Margaret Sanger is and the things that she believed in, and who was the president of... Who were we talking to that just found that out and couldn't believe it? It was like, yo, Bill Gates' dad was the president of Planned Parenthood?
Oh, that was me.
That was you, right? Yeah. And we talked about that on here before, but I guess you might not have been here or you missed that one. But yeah, like, people don't know this.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. I think because, like we said, words change meaning, and so much time and the redirection of things, that a lot of people just don't understand what that is.
Yeah.
So it's swapped out for women's health. So obviously, if you say women's health, you're not going to disagree with that.
You can't, or else you're a misogynist.
But if you go into what sterilization was and how this person spoke, Margaret Sanger, I myself learned about her about 10 years ago, right? But I have heard many Democrats talk about it very praisingly.
Praise her. Hillary Clinton is one that comes to mind right away.
Right. Yeah, I just don't think we understand.
But even like beyond Planned Parenthood, like there's so many different companies that do it. I mean, they're one of the biggest, especially government funded. But there's so many. Oh yeah. There's many abortion clinics that are outside of Planned Parenthood that do this stuff.
They're just the biggest. They're the McDonald's of
of
abortions.
But McDonald's is backed by the government,
and they're using.
That's the thing.
They're using this Roe v. Wade thing to get money. With send your $15. This is ridiculous. This is the worst.
Yeah, we have to ensure. We have to codify.
Codify
women's health.
Yeah.
Don't fall for it.
Y'all
it's
had
a trick.
they did nothing though. You know,
Yeah.
they were in charge. They did nothing.
Yeah.
Yo, just a real quick funny side note. Hillary Clinton posted something yesterday. I think it was. It was just funny because this is how phony this woman is. She posts, when I was a little girl, I wrote a letter to NASA saying that I wanted to be an astronaut, and they wrote me back and said, we don't take women or we don't take girls. Right. And then all these people like responded to it. It was like NASA was established in 1957 and the first astronauts went to space in 1969. You were an adult. Like, so shut up. You're lying.
And she looked at Kamala. She's like, Snoop Dogg?
Yeah.
Biggie, Tupac?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kamala got caught for that too.
Yeah. Same type of stuff. It's like just saying stuff because it sounds good.
Yeah.
What albums did you listen to, when you were in college?
Tupac.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, wait a minute.
I have a question, you guys.
What's your question?
Does anybody remember Kevorkian?
Yep.
My question and my thought on this is, didn't they ban assisted suicide?
Of course.
Isn't that like, not legal anymore?
It's not legal
So how come abortion is okay?
because one's not a person. Hello.
Right.
You gotta
Whatever.
control the
One is
black
just
and brown
one is just a
population.
clump of cells.
Yeah. Or a black person.
Oh my God.
Hello.
So therefore, we don't care.
That is.
That's
I mean, that's the
eugenics is
truth.
about.
That's the truth.
You guys.
You know
ain't-
what?
In
Your,
some circles.
your population ain't growing,
Yeah,
girl.
in some circles.
In some circles.
Yeah.
Because in some
Well-
circles, it's not even about that.
No, it's not. But I'm saying,
But the founding.
because we're talking about Margaret Sanger, and she
founding.
openly spoke out about how we shouldn't let black people,
The Negro problem.
the
she called it.
yeah,
or,
the Negro
or,
problem.
Spaniards.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going because we got to get through some of this stuff.
And that there's a lot of, pardon my French, fucked up people in the world. And I really think that's atrocious, obviously. But the issue is that that's not the majority of abortions in this country, and that's not
10,000. 10,000.
It's not nothing.
Listen to
I'm
this.
I'm
I
never
mean,
saying that it's not nothing.
It's
I'm
even
never.
more than children that die from guns, and guns, as you said, is
So
a
let
leading
me
cause
just
of
go
death.
back. She's saying 10,000 children killed post 21 weeks,
Right.
right? Which she is saying she's for,
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean, she's against.
against, right.
She's against.
Right.
So 10,000 that are born, right, but killed.
Right.
Like this is what they're talking about. So
Yeah.
But
the
10,000
leading
children.
cause of death. Just
Well,
saying.
but you consider these,
Anyone who
but
makes
but
sense.
hold on, you're being you're being contradictory here because you said that after 21 weeks you consider them human lives, persons that should have legal protection, and 10,000 abortions annually happen after 21 weeks in this country. So that, again, children killed by guns, horrific. Those children are being dismembered, some of them live dismemberment, some of them lethal injection abortions.
And what about the extreme health risk of the mother?
Okay. That's the one clip.
So she doesn't see how it's not processing in her mind. Because I didn't put this in there, but earlier she was talking about like guns, and she was so adamant
Right.
about that, how that's the leading cause. But but then when she said, but hold up, abortions are the leading.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to count that.
Right.
You know,
So
that
the leading
doesn't-
cause
doesn't
of
count.
children
Children being
being
killed.
killed.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
even if you don't count before 21 weeks,
It's already
it's already,
more.
yep.
Yeah. Wow. It's
That's-
10,000 after 21 weeks.
Yeah.
Kelly Stark said, yes, truth. Thank you. Courtney said that's horrible. Yeah.
And that's the thing, when you present the truth right in their face, there's
you
nothing
mentioned-
you can do.
Yeah.
You can't combat the truth.
Well, yeah.
That's a big part of the
That's
problem.
when we get emotional, though.
Some
like,
of our friends, I won't,
yeah.
they start to walk away
Yeah.
from those conversations.
Right.
Yep.
When you attack the base of their argument.
Right.
Yes.
They can't defend against it, so,
So
it's
then
better
it's
to
just
walk
like,
out.
I don't want to
Like,
talk. Because I don't want to change my views.
Yeah.
I want to just hold on to my views. So rather than let you say something that I can't argue against, I'm just going to walk away and exit. Yeah.
Which shows you
the
that-
last time we had, like not an argument, but a talk. Somebody
Heated debate.
Somebody
Especially
literally say,
knowing if you were involved. It was a heated
I see
debate.
you're talking, but I'm not hearing. I'm not listening to what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it's like, really? Like,
Yeah.
they don't want to hear
Because
the
yeah.
other side.
And that's when I say, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because there's really no point in talking.
Yeah.
Holding
Right.
on is pride. And if you're in pride, then you're not willing to receive and understand somebody else's, where they're coming from.
I sometimes, part of it too is, let's say someone did have an abortion, and you start presenting with truth, and they feel guilty, so they don't want to go any further because then they want to be stuck in, I did what was best for me,
Right.
in terms of the umbrella of women's health.
I don't want to
what-
have to think of.
I don't want to have to think that I
Yeah.
did
But
this.
That's here, not everybody can say it, but that's where I can relate with you.
Yeah.
Because I was there too.
They're only gonna let you. They're only gonna let you get that far,
Right.
Because some people can't deal. They can't deal with certain things. Like you said, if they let you speak a little bit, you can reach out to them in brotherhood and be like, listen, I feel you, and you could show them parallels. But
I think
they don't
people
wanna hear
don't
that.
want to be hypocrites also. Like people don't want, well, if I did that, then I can't go back on it, like, because then I'm a hypocrite. Like,
Right.
They just don't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Because that's
it's the same thing.
I feel
like,
guilty. I feel guilty. I feel-
because then I
of their
gotta
character.
actually check myself, or I just gotta recognize, and I don't want to, or I'm horrible and I'm a killer, right? If they go
Yeah.
there, and you are, but it's okay because like that's why you need Jesus,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because then
Here's where you reconcile it at.
and it's not like a trick, It's like really like he can take that away. He can take that burden off of you.
Yeah.
Nobody, like, that's why the worst of the worst can turn to God and receive real life. He
Yeah.
can take away that old life where you did those things, And I think a lot of people get caught up. Like, I see people trying to like point fingers at people so many times, like, oh, look at what they did in their past. Oh, look what they did. Even like the blackface thing, like all these things that people try to bring up from the past. And to me, it's always like, you don't know what they did in their life, even a year ago, that they
Yeah.
might have turned to God for and changed. Sometimes people hold on to it. Sometimes people are hypocrites. But what I'm saying is that don't just judge people in that way, like, because you don't want to be judged in that way. Like, I know I'm a whole lot different than I was 5 years ago, So
A lot of people, like I said, people walk away because they're embarrassed,
Right.
or they feel like they haven't come to the understanding of forgiveness for themselves and
Right.
that God forgives them. So they don't want to hear it because they don't want to be reminded that there's something. The correlation would be a man who is a womanizer, right? You enjoyed it. You told stories about all your conquests. And as soon as you have a daughter, then you're confronted with somebody's going to do to your daughter what you have promoted. And then you become, this is why all these tropes in the especially within black movies, the dad comes out. We saw it in Bad Boys where they were, Martin and Will were waving a gun in front of the kid's face. And 50 Cent was, we see all
always
these
see
tropes.
that,
We see all these tropes. White movies do it too.
They do.
But what they're being confronted with is now the things that they have done to someone is going to do to their daughter.
Right.
So they feel like physical violence or threatening them, I'm going to kill you for doing this is the best solution. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we see it all the time. When people are confronted with their past or their sin, they lash out or they,
I have 2 daughters, and I'll tell you, I can't tell you the amount of times that, like, men will come up to me and be like, you get your shotgun ready, man.
Right.
And I'm just always like, nah, I don't need it, man. You know what I mean? I'm gonna teach them. I'm gonna teach them. Like,
you can't fall into the spell.
yeah, because it's like, what is the point of that? And how does that stop anything from? How does that prevent anything that you're afraid of?
Right.
You know what I mean? You're gonna kill every little boy that comes around. Like, come on, dude. Like,
Right.
It doesn't.
Right.
and that starts to like really hit you when it happens. When
Yeah.
it starts happening.
right.
Yeah.
And that's why you see a bunch of men. Then I guess he's gonna sleep over the house.
Yeah.
Like, they go to that. Like,
Right.
the gun ain't work.
Paul said the global depopulation agenda is real. Is that first speaker single? He thinks she's cute. Emma said abortion is
Talking
really
about her?
yeah. Emma said abortion is really sad because the people supporting it are born already and supporting the termination of others. Yeah.
That's what, the ones who's the loudest. Like, all right, if you feel like that still, they play the victim.
Yeah.
It's a free country, man.
Yeah, I
Don't
saw
jump in
a
front of
woman protesting
can
and,
still
and
abort
had a
yourself.
sign holding up like I've had 21 abortions.
Yeah.
Like proud of
You're
it.
proud of
know?
that.
Right.
I mean, that's another. That's when Like that's extreme.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
that's-
that is extreme.
And most
Yeah.
people aren't like that.
Right.
Which I'll say the majority of people who've had abortions ain't out there. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'm
proud of their
I'm very
abortions.
irresponsible.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: like, I think what you guys are witnessing by having these conversations is not that people don't want to hear you. I think they're being confronted with either a choice they've made or something that has happened traumatic in their life, and they don't.
Yeah.
They're not ready to face the reality that they participated in something.
Yep.
So rather than listen to something that can help them confront this and grow from it, they walk away because I want to hear this, man. You know what I mean?
Courtney said 21. That's a serial killer.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's keep going with this.
How we need to care about the leading cause of death for children, right? And so I'm just sharing that that's 10,000 abortions, and that's according to Planned Parenthood's research arm themselves, Guttmacher and the CDC. That the latest statistics I've seen, I think from 2021, was about 7,000 children killed by guns. Also horrific. So the leading cause of death, even by your definition, is abortion for children.
No, because I wouldn't define it that way. And again, it's getting into the
See?
irrelevance for me, because
She's
it's
being-
not that it's irrelevant. You
Now
can
listen to
like
what she says.
deeply hold that yourself. But what I am saying, and I've been saying, and I will continue to say, is that until this place is welcoming to new life and makes the yes to have a baby an easy yes, and doesn't have all these obstacles of going into debt for healthcare, of maybe dying when you're there, because 2 out of 3 maternal deaths could have been stopped. That is egregious to me. It's egregious to me that people get in such dire circumstances of poverty or abuse or of sexual abuse that they do perform abortions on themselves if they're not accessible legally. So
would you support banning abortions? I'm confused about your position, because at one point you said they're children and now they're not children again. Would you support banning abortions after 21
no, I know.
weeks?
I'm just laughing to
Yeah.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing to myself, because I'm admittedly telling you that I have not thought a lot about that terminology and that lingo and what I know.
Forget
what
the
I
terminology
hold-
for a minute. Do you support, you clearly support doing whatever we can in public policy to stop gun deaths of children, right? Do you support using law to protect children at 21 and up weeks from lethal injections and dismemberment?
Well, I think for me it has to be necessary and a medical necessity.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, there's a lot of cases. I've talked to a lot of people. I'm going to also say that I'm not completely informed about all of the nuance about what happens beyond 21 weeks. But the people that I have talked to are in great, great pain about it. It's not something that's done willy-nilly.
Because they know it's a child, and it's
And it might actually-
excruciating for the conscience. And so it's so wrong of us to say go for it.
No, it's not the conscious. I mean,
The conscience of the person who's having the abortion, it's excruciating for many women. I think
But
you're
that's
acknowledging
because they
that.
wanted to keep the baby, but it was medically necessary.
And
it
if
couldn't
they were
happen.
told it was medically necessary, and that is what makes me so
But we've
angry
already
about
agreed on
our-
that. I
we
already told
agree-
you I agree on that.
So
If
you
there's-
do agree that it's not medically necessary, that there isn't an instance on that, because that is something that a lot of people I think are very, very confused
Let's
on.
put it this way. Let's put it this way. In a late-term abortion, just to keep it very simple here, in a late-term abortion, the child, you're talking about a viable baby that you're saying you support protecting their life, I think is what you're
Are you
saying.
going to go into descriptive of how they die? Because I already know. I mean,
I'm going to share that you can deliver that child via C-section or a vaginal delivery. And abortion, the difference between that and abortion, deliver that child alive and give that child a fighting chance. And abortion is designed to first kill that child and then deliver the child.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say, and from the medical, back to the question of medically necessary in the late term, and it's for the early term too, and we can talk about that more if you'd like, but you can let that child live. Because in any procedure used to deliver that child, if it's an abortion, you're killing the child first. Just let them live. Let them be born alive. So there's no medical necessity to kill the child first. You mentioned.
Yeah, I've heard that argument many times. I've heard that argument many times, especially in the later term abortions. Like,
Yeah, 'cause-
there's no necessity to kill the child first.
Right.
Let it see if it can live on its own. If it doesn't, then at least you tried everything you could medically possible to give it a fighting chance.
Have you guys ever seen like a early baby being born or?
Yeah, like a premature baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And didn't make it?
No.
I have.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. My sister-in-law had a baby, and the baby didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
There was complications, and I think it was like 28 weeks, 29 weeks, and you know, it's sad. Like, and they had to grieve that baby.
Yeah.
You know, and to think that like people can kill a baby. Like,
Yeah.
I saw the baby.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't, I don't, like, it's hard for me to talk about because it's so sad. You know, and but to see that, like, man, there's no excuse.
It's
like,
not, dude.
there's no excuse. And even she had to have the baby. The baby was already dead, but she still had to birth the baby.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. Like, you don't do an abortion. Like, I saw somebody put that up as like evidence. Like, my baby is dead in my womb, and I have to have an abortion. No, you have to birth the baby.
You have to birth it. Yeah.
They still have to induce you. You birth the baby, and the baby's already dead. That's not an abortion. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
So I think people's minds are just messed up in terms of how they see it. That's why I wanted to show this.
Because
from them.
there are some procedures where they go in and literally dismember the baby inside of you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
That's
But
the murder we're talking about.
Yeah.
But they don't have to.
Yeah.
You know?
One of our friends had a preemie, right? You know what I'm talking about. But I think it was 27 weeks, and he's a
thriving kid.
He's a thriving kid.
Yeah,
27 weeks.
because it can happen.
Yeah, there's some babies that are born earlier than that
Yeah.
that have survived.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
22 weeks. Yeah.
I got kind of emotional looking at you, dude. Like, dude, just talking about like like, I don't know. I love kids so much, man. It's like it hurts my heart.
Yeah.
That, you know, people can do this.
I would like to, you know, because I am the only girl here right now. You
Speak
know?
on it. Speak on it.
Amongst
Your
y'all.
body, your choice.
Stop it. I do want
Unless
to
it's,
add.
jabby jabs.
No. You know, since I, you know, am a female on the panel at the moment right now, I would like to add from the, you know, being someone who has been pregnant, the experience that I had was interesting, because that whole medically necessary thing. Medically necessary for whom?
Right.
Because y'all know my son. Y'all know. Have you seen how vibrant he is and smart, intelligent, advanced, wonderful child? Do you know that they told me that I needed to abort him?
Wow.
Had I been one that could be easily swayed and believe in something like that, he would not be here today.
Yeah.
And I was
What was the reason they gave you?
I'm about to tell you. And this was what made me so angry. Because then it made me wonder how many pregnant women go through this.
Yeah.
Because I think that maybe a lot of more pregnant women are actually having forced abortions, not forced births, because in their mind, their doctors are telling them something that's not true, just so that they can kill their baby. They told me that Elliot had a spinal deformation. There was something wrong with his spine. They said that, you know, the imagery that they were getting, there was something wrong with their spine. They kept wanting to do an amniocentesis on me. I kept telling them no. I said, no, I don't. You're not doing that. Whatever's going on in there, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Let him be. He don't even like ultrasounds. You're glad you're lucky I let you do that. He doesn't like ultrasounds. Leave my baby alone. Leave me alone. Let him grow. He's fine. You're not doing an amniocentesis. That was the one thing. So then they tried to get me by saying, well, we think that, you know, it's like he's got something wrong with his spine. He could be born with developmental issues. We think that you should terminate the pregnancy. My son was born 7 pounds even, healthy, 21 and a quarter. And the word of the day when Elliot was born was perfect. Amongst the nurses, everybody, oh, he's so perfect. Oh, he's so perfect. Yet at, what was I, maybe 7 months? You told me that I should abort him?
Now, did you go back to those doctors and speak to them about this?
Yeah, I told her off. You know I don't. I did.
Yeah.
I told her off, and I said, I don't want you touching me, because I had to have an update. I had to have a what is it called? Checkup. What I forget the name of the appointment. It's like update, whatever appointment. Because after I had the baby, you don't have to go get checked out or whatever. I said, I don't want your hands on me. I don't want you touching me. No, you're not touching me. You're not touching me. Because how dare you tell me? I said, I didn't forget. Do you think I forgot? Right. I did not forget what you told me. My baby was fine. And how dare you
Right.
suggest
But
that I
see-
should get an abortion for a perfectly
And
healthy
then they
baby.
wonder why when we say like you can't just blindly trust the experts on everything.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
But see, part of it too is, yes, it's not malpractice per se, but it's misinformation.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So because this doctors like this who do say that, and by the way, I've heard this from quite a few women,
Yeah.
mostly black women, about terminating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard this quite often from a few female friends of mine, including Shaniqua's friends, about they were advised to terminate. Right.
Wow.
But what's
Interesting.
What's interesting about
Right?
that?
Here's another thing to add, and then you could. I don't know if you guys, but they ask you for the test to see if the baby has Down syndrome or
all
these
that.
things.
Yeah.
And that's another issue because I always opt out of it.
Me
because
too.
Regardless
Me too.
if he has it,
I'm
or
not doing
like,
that. Yeah.
Like we're gonna have the baby, so it doesn't matter. But that's another thing they try to add on. It's a
Yeah.
fear,
Right.
right? And a lot of people take it,
Yep.
and then they end up aborting. So
Because it's a fear. But what I was going to say was, I think part of the issue we're having here in America and the West is misinformation, and no medical doctors are held accountable for what they have said. Now, if there was a way where this doctor that gave this information, there was a consistent, she recommending abortion. There's no way to measure that she recommends 90% of abortion
Right.
to see what's going on here with this person. So this is just one person, maybe two. So there's not a lot of information
Right.
on this doctor. What's your agenda? And I think you can blindly have somebody who's just recommend. There's no accountability.
Yep.
Right.
There's nothing. You know what I mean?
There may even be incentive there.
There may be incentive there.
Yeah.
To
To find out like
Kind of like how there's incentive to snip those peenies.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of kickbacks going on. You know, you never know.
You know that facial cream you
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so much.
or they try to get me a couple of times.
Paul said that's a powerful testimony, Lena.
Thank you. Yeah.
it is a powerful testimony.
Yeah.
Yep. That boy is here for a reason. I tell you that.
Yep. And they try to take him out, and look at that.
And look at
I
how
know, right?
life matters.
Yeah.
Life
Yeah.
matters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's keep going with this debate.
I do know is that I have not once spoken to anyone who is like willy-nilly did this because I decided to. It is an incredible.
What?
That's a lie.
That is, maybe she hasn't spoken to them, but it's a known fact that it's the elective abortion is the number one reason, without a doubt, by majority.
Yeah.
Like she's
Incredibly traumatic, difficult decision for people to make, and it is a decision that they feel and their doctor and their care provider felt was out of medical necessity.
Did you know? I mean, I have a question. Two things. One, so do you think that doctors are lying to their patients that they need an abortion?
Many are misleading.
I got
Okay,
lied
and then
to.
two, can you guys get on the same page then, based on the way you're explaining and based on what it sounds like you might be saying? I'm not totally sure that you both agree that at least late-term abortion is never medically necessary. That instead you can induce the baby.
It's absolutely
and
not
try to
medically
take care of that baby. Or do you
Yeah.
agree that
no,
that
I'm
medical?
not agreeing with that. I'm
Okay.
saying that I don't have enough information on it, but the current information I have on it is
I-
that
for someone who has so many like
You
strong
really didn't
say
viewpoints,
that, though.
has no information.
Yeah.
Like you are on the ropes. You're about to be knocked down here.
But see, I think part of the issue is this: the parameters of the debate. Like, it's good that they're having this conversation.
Yeah.
But you can easily get up and say, "I've talked to many people."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Anyone can say that.
Anyone
Anybody
can say that.
But that's why it's called that's why you can't
Yeah.
use that in debate.
And-
That's
and-
anecdotal evidence.
That's
And she's very anecdotal
Yeah.
in her stuff,
Yeah.
which I
don't
feel
know
kind of
anybody.
bad about because she doesn't have a lot of.
But she's prepared for she agreed to the interview.
Yeah.
Like she knew what was coming.
But her thing is, I don't know if you've ever heard of her channel is called God is Gray.
That's God is Gray.
That's
I knew
God is Gray.
I recognized
Yeah.
her.
So she's very new age,
Yeah.
you know, but she's a Christian, right? You know, she's
God
that-
is Gray comes from like it's not black or white. It's gray.
yeah.
There's always
There's a gray area.
So my point is, everything's great to her.
Yeah, right.
You see it in the way she's acting
Right.
with everything.
Yeah. Right.
She's not. There's no black
Yeah.
or white,
And she won't clearly lay out her position.
Yeah.
right.
Because
She
she
won't
keeps
pick a
asking
side.
her, all right, well, where do you stand on it? It's like always like, well,
Right.
21 weeks is
Yeah.
a baby,
She
but
says
it's
it.
not a baby.
but it doesn't count as murder, so it's not the leading cause of death because I don't count it the same way. But
a gun.
Right.
yeah,
I'm spiritual, not religious.
yeah.
She reminds me a lot of the the guy you guys played for, the Jesus is gay guy.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I wonder what he's up
she's
to.
She's close to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
That's
medical
hard.
necessary in
yeah.
certain cases,
On-
and if it's
yeah.
not, I would get on the same page with you and
Okay.
say, well, then there needs to be more information, and people need to understand that there is more choice than one. But if there is more choice than one, and if it isn't medically necessary, then either way, these people are going through an excruciating decision.
The abortion is very excruciating for the child as well.
I mean, a doctor should never be misleading anyone into anything.
Lena, you have something to say about that?
So I agree with you on that, but I don't know enough about late-term abortion or abortion later in pregnancy to actually get into the mire of what that looks like.
Okay, bye.
All I do know is
What?
but the
You
first,
don't
the
know
beginning.
enough. You don't know enough, but you have all these opinions.
Yeah,
you
that's-
haven't watched a video of an abortion,
Yeah.
but you have all
Right.
all
these
opinions.
She's a bandwagon believer.
Yep. It's like this is the most polite position to have.
Yeah.
There you go.
This
So
is the
I'm gonna
circle
have
back.
it.
I care
Yeah.
about people.
I care about people.
And she probably does care,
Right.
but it's like when caring goes wrong. Like
Yeah.
you can be too caring,
When caring goes wrong.
and you become too anxious.
Yeah.
Because even in Philippians 4, it says, "Be not anxious," but it also says, "Don't care."
Don't care, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It says so
Because that's what happened when you're anxious. You care too much.
Right. And you're rushing.
Let's keep going.
Of pregnancy. If someone is if there's a certain situation where there's something very extreme health risk of the mother and the baby, are you saying that instead of dismembering the child in the way that you depict what abortion is, instead if you induce the baby that's not abortion? Because I think people are really confused at what the difference is. What
I
is
think
abortion,
I see
what's
what you're
not.
saying. I think I
Yes.
see what you're saying. And I think oftentimes the very high risk stake situations with pregnancy happen later on in the pregnancy. And so that's typically where this conversation is landing about these later term situations. In some very rare cases, there might be in like an emergency situation, there might be the need, extremely rare cases, and so rare that even this doctor never saw this case in his clinic, right?
So we're talking less than 1%.
All right, real
Less than
quick.
probably 0.00.
So, because she's talking about a doctor that she brought up before, that's not in here. And this doctor worked with only high risk cases. So he worked with the extreme of the extreme, not
Right.
just a normal
Right.
doctor. He works with only high risk pregnancies.
Yeah.
So in that, she's saying like it's like 0.001% of
That need to have-
pregnancies
Okay.
that are dealing with things that are outside of that scope. You know, like.
Courtney said, it seems she doesn't know enough about anything.
Right.
0.01%, extremely rare cases where labor might need to be induced before viability. And these are extreme cases. And even some doctors, pro-life doctors you'll talk to say like, well, if you just give him a couple more weeks, you manage the pregnancy, she's in the hospital, watched her vitals, we can make it for both lives. We can still make it for both lives. So you would get pushback from some doctors on this. But in that situation, if it's a game time decision and that's not possible for some reason, I think there could be some, if the goal is not to kill that child, you're not going in there dismembering that child, but you're inducing an early delivery and hoping that you can provide care for that child to live, that's not an abortion.
Okay, do you
So
agree
if
with
that's
that?
your question.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, no, it's really interesting. Like, I need more education.
But that's
on
not what's
this.
happening. I mean, what's happening is
my
they're going in
goodness.
there and they're killing the child. I mean, so that's
gonna
our
circle
abortion.
back
But
on
the
this.
reason why I think this topic is so important, Len and Brenda, you
Yeah.
go ahead and reply, is that this is a really common reason why people are pro-choice. Because they say, for one, what about rare extreme circumstances,
Yeah.
horrific instances of rape and incest? For two, and then the other example is, extreme circumstances
the
of
woman's
health
gonna
risk
die.
of the mother or
Yeah.
non-viability
Well,
of
actually,
the baby.
the most prevalent one is not even those two because, like, for example, state of Florida, they have research on how many of the abortions are in the cases of rape or incest. It's 0.2%.
Oh no, I meant the reasons why people say why they are pro-choice. Well, not saying the reasons why abortions happen. I think we're all in agreement of that. But just saying this is why I'm pro-choice because of what about these circumstances?
Well, a lot of the times, I think there's even another dimension to it, which is that, especially those on the pro-abortion side are saying we need, and when they use like it's a medically necessary abortion, that language is sometimes used, they're actually not even talking about a health condition the mom has. They're talking about a fetal abnormality, a disability that the baby might have. And they would say this abortion was medically necessary because my baby, they might not use the word baby, but because the fetus or something has some sort of...
That's the Anna Navarro argument, right? We wouldn't have all these retards if we were allowed to abort them.
Right.
Like
right.
that was her.
Yeah, yeah.
That was her.
She was talking
That
about,
was her
she was
argument.
talking about her family.
Yeah.
disability.
okay, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, again,
But it's wrong to kill the baby. I mean, in that situation, I would say the same thing. It's wrong to kill the baby.
It would be like if you're the doctor that you were talking about before who saw no instances of abortion in later term.
He was high risk pregnancy in general, so it's largely the later term is when it becomes most high risk. So
yeah, I mean, pregnancy is a risk, and it's a lot. But if he has had that experience and he has that information and that education and he knows how to provide a place that those babies can come out and be viable, I think everyone would be overjoyed to hear that, and we would want that information more accessible everywhere. I don't think there should ever be an abortion care provider misleading someone, not doing their due diligence to make sure that everything is up to bar and they aren't pushing someone in a certain direction. Like, it should be completely unbiased and based in reality and fact.
You said earlier that late-term abortions can be up to $20,000, and that's true. What's the incentive for an abortionist who's doing late-term abortions to say, don't come and have my abortion, you don't need it?
Yeah. It's a great point.
I mean, the basic
Pass
ethics
up on that
of
money?
being a human being and doing right by people. I've talked to some of these
'Cause that's
people,
the
these
thing.
providers, and they truly believe they are doing an important service. And
So you think they're encouraging?
The parents in those situations believe.
Of course, they're going to tell you that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of course, they're going to tell you that. It's like, anybody will say, yeah, my job is really important. I care about people.
Women's health.
But, okay, would you do it for free, though?
No,
You
no.
know what I'm saying? Like,
I have something to do.
I don't know much about
Would you
that.
do it for free to save some lives?
She said that earlier. She was like, well, if we had universal health care, it's like they still getting paid.
Yeah, they still getting paid. And they probably would stop doing it because they're going to get paid less.
Right.
Same thing, because if there's information that shows that these are not medically necessary, then there would be a lot of families that would be overjoyed to hear this. Like, this to me is one of the biggest, most common misconceptions that's in this argument that makes people on my side look so evil to the other side. Like, oh, we're just allowing this to happen, or we're feeling willy-nilly about this, when in fact, this is one of the most traumatic events in a person's life. And if there's another option, those parents are there
Because they know they're
seeking that
killing a
option.
baby.
They didn't-
Can I make a point real
Yeah,
quick?
go ahead.
I feel like part of what's happening is what she's saying is a person. She's really talking about a woman, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a husband and a wife,
Mm-hmm.
and you start talking to them, and they can decide. Most of the times, they're going to choose life.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a single woman by herself, and you say Down syndrome, spina bifida,
Yeah.
you scare that young woman.
Spina bifida, that was the word.
If you scare that woman, a single woman by herself in there, maybe she got pregnant, and the dad or the man who got her pregnant doesn't want to be in her life.
Yeah.
So things are already out of order. So you start telling her, because they know the words to trigger her to make her feel like you're about to enter an insurmountable odds situation where this is the spina bifida and Down syndrome and this, and that person has to be forced to make that decision. Now they're thinking, this kid is going to be born with this thing. Can I handle this? So maybe it's best for me to terminate. Versus if it was a husband and wife sitting there and they can decide, and usually, because I went with Shaniqua, with my wife, I went with her to pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
And you know, Jimmy, you and I talk about the BS.
Mm-hmm.
And
I went too. I saw it all.
Yeah, I want to see what they're, and I want to be present because I want them to tell me what's wrong. Just like circumcision, when they came to me with this, and I was like, no, because I already done the research for it.
Yeah.
But some people already made up their mind, and
they're still pushing it.
They're still pushing. It was like 3 times.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people who don't understand what this is, please go do the research and find out how unnecessary it is. But
and how many botched ones there are.
How many little boys that die and bleed out? There's a ton of that. And the fact that they sell the foreskins to pharmaceutical companies to make foreskin, no one wants to hear about that.
Yeah.
But if you capture fear in somebody, they're going to believe it.
Yeah, because what did they do? They did the same thing that these doctors do to these women. They did to you and your wife. Well, it's like, it looks like he might have an issue with his penis, and it could, he might gonna be able to pee straight, and then later on in life, women ain't gonna want him. He's gonna be, I want to show y'all something real quick because it goes along with what we're talking about and talking about like the medical industry and how like you can't just assume that these people are being genuine all the time and care so much about the job. This video went viral this week, And I didn't know if I was going to play it or not, but it's relevant now. And
It's apropos.
And this doctor
Right.
got roasted. I'm just going to bring it up real quick and show y'all. Come on. Oh, there we go.
I put my armor on, show you how strong I am. I put my armor on, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I put my
So if you can't see it, it's a doctor in the hallway, clearly upset, and then the caption says, "Lost a patient today," with dramatic music playing, and then it says, "Shake of off." I supposed to be shake it off. You have 5 more hours, and they're like clearly distraught and like bent over and feeling very upset. Now the reason why this person got roasted is because you had to go into the hallway, turn on your phone, set it up, and act out this whole scene because you knew you were going to post it on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? And that's...
Or somebody else is holding it for you.
No one's holding it. It's too still. You can tell. And even if someone else is holding it, that's even worse. Because now someone else...
You're capitalizing on it.
So literally, it's like...
Not genuine.
It's not genuine.
Yeah.
It's not genuine.
Yeah.
This is all for attention, for show, for something else. For something else. And we noticed this before when we saw...
provoke a feeling.
Right.
She looked like she's acting.
Yeah.
Right. But I wanted to add on
Go
to
ahead.
what I was saying. I think that they have such a fear towards younger women that this is going to be the end of their lives. And then if the woman is feeling any kind of connection to the child, because there's a lot of hormonal changes happening to the woman as that happen.
Yeah.
If you add in all these diseases and all these things,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems insurmountable, what kind of choice is that young woman without the assistance of a husband or somebody like that? They don't play. I think with a couple they won't do that. A married couple,
it's harder.
But on a single younger woman, they can.
And I was thinking about this earlier on in the conversation too. To like, no one ever brings that up into the equation where it's like, well, that's why we should be pushing for marriage. That's why we should be pushing for people not to be out here just getting pregnant by anybody, because then you run into all these issues.
Yes.
Then you need all of these extra programs and
Right.
all these extra things. Like, why shouldn't we just be telling people this is why you get married?
This is why you get married.
You know?
Sex ban.
I think it's important.
I'm for sex
Say
ban.
sex ban?
That means they're not having sex, and they're not aborting babies.
But
See, that's overreach.
No, but this is what the women are saying.
That's what
women
they're
are saying.
They're
No,
really-
it's not a sex ban. It's sex boycott.
Sex boycott, right?
Yeah.
Get it right, Mo.
But I sent a meme.
Yeah.
I sent a meme to Stan. It was like this overweight fat
Yeah.
girl that was laying
I
on the
saw-
ground
yeah, I
with
saw
the
that.
sign that says
No abortion.
No abortions
No
means
abortion,
no sex,
sex
for you. And she's like all disgusting looking like.
Yeah.
And
I was
everybody
like-
and all the comments are like, deal.
I want to add something to that to show that it's really them playing on fear.
Yeah.
Because it's like with athleticism and sports, right?
Yeah.
One of the first things they do is when they start to groom young men who are kind of getting into the sports world, is you don't want to mess up this contract.
Yeah.
You don't want to do this
Yeah.
because it has to be a win.
Yep.
So they play on fear of losing out
Yeah.
or whatever. So they're going to do the same thing that they do with young women is like, your life is going to be
Yep.
over. Maybe they won't say it like that.
Yeah.
But once they list the amount of potential diseases that could happen, a young person who's going to want to raise a child that
Yeah.
they feel is going to be medically deficient,
Right.
is going to drain them. They're by themselves usually. You're going to make you're literally corralled into making a decision of termination. You know what I mean?
And they do-
But if you have a husband and you have your wife and you said, "No, babe,
Or
we're
a
going to work
family
through this.
support system, a
We're going to work through
community.
this. We're going to,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why,
that's their game, bro. They did that
Yeah.
with the jabby jab, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
I'm in there being like, I'm in the 8th month and I don't want to do this anymore. They're coming in because they feel there's a reason. And to your point about like anomalies or things that are, what word am I looking for? Disabilities or anything, like that's also a shame. I truly believe that because there's so little education. And I think the US is getting better at that. Even something as sweet as TikTok has been helping people get more accustomed to the idea that there are people in our society that have disabilities and they're not able-bodied, but they're living full and beautiful lives. That to me is like the power of a story, the power of understanding that life is valuable. That is something that actually is really important to me. And then again, goes back into the idea of, okay, then are we putting them into a society and into a place where they can thrive in that body? And that really is the question to me, but we agree here on these little points.
I mean, it's obvious that we're living in a society where they can thrive. We see it all the time. Like, it's not going to be the same for everybody. Every circumstance is different. But as a whole, like, there's so many programs in place for people that, you know, would be considered disabled or, you know.
Yeah. What do you consider valuable or viable?
I've definitely.
Yeah. What do you consider?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got another one
We
here.
have friends who have been told that their baby might have Down syndrome, so you should probably abort.
But that's one of those babies.
But that's legal abortion for you.
She
That's
was
the
one of
culture
those
death for
babies.
you, where we see abortion killing as solution. And so if the baby's sick, if there's any issue with the pregnancy, if there's any sort of problem that the woman's facing in her personal life and that she feels, again, fear that's directing her towards the abortion clinic, then that is what she's affirmed, and that's the way to go.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. I think, again, that there needs to be structural things implemented, resources easily accessible. If you have these resources, people should absolutely know who they are nationwide. And doctors should not have any bias lean towards wanting to perform abortion or to,
But they
especially.
Of course.
But they do. I mean, I think that part of it too is we don't know how many doctors are misdiagnosing certain things.
Yeah.
See, she's raising. I was one.
Yeah.
But imagine if like there was millions of people who said they were all considered to be Down syndrome.
Right.
Wouldn't there be some? Well, let's look into why they keep saying this.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be. It's like
Those
the whole,
screenings.
The screenings.
Maybe they're not as accurate as
Maybe
they
they're not
say.
as accurate as
you
they
know?
say.
Just like, you know, those PCR tests turned out not to be as accurate as they told us they were. You know what I mean?
lying.
Like, they always say that these things are so accurate. We don't know that.
Right.
Courtney said they back single women into a corner and make them feel like there is no other option. That's sad. Matter of fact, I want to shout out Courtney because she signed up as a Patreon member last week. We appreciate you. Signed up on that. Matter of fact, put in the chat what size T-shirt you are. We're going to send you a free T-shirt because you signed up on the
That's
Patreon.
the whole point. They back you into a corner because this is why they want to push unmarried. Do what you want, have fun, because they know that when you're backed into that corner, you're only going to make one decision. Even if your heartstrings are tugging and you feel like, I don't want to do this, once you start hearing potential problems, you're going to back out of it.
Paul, crazy. Go ahead, you read
I was
it.
just doing the same thing, but I held my tongue.
Yeah, especially where I just froze that frame right there. Paul said, wait, did she say she was a Down syndrome baby? I can see it.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, that ain't right.
Courtney said,
saying she looks like a Down syndrome baby.
Yeah.
Act like it.
Courtney said, I'm a small. Thanks, guys. Blessings to you always. Yeah, we're going to get you a T-shirt. Well, I'll hit you up with a private message. Get your address. We'll send you out one.
But let me add to this, too. We need more women like Lena and other women who basically speak and let other women know that they told me this.
Yeah.
See, the thing is a lot of times people they don't share this information to understand that this sounds familiar.
Yep.
Like I said, she's like the fourth woman that I've heard say this. You know, so I think if there was a collective to say, listen, we have a bunch of women saying that their child or their fetus was diagnosed with this.
Yeah.
And none of it came to be true.
Yeah.
Let's look into this.
Isn't that the same thing we were talking about earlier with the bully and standing up? Like, you have to stand up to these things. More people stand up, they're going to be like, oh, I was dealing with the same thing. Oh, I can stand up too. And that's what you see. You always see that happen. But the problem is, and you see people, politics and politeness cause people to feel like they have a right when you're not moving with the culture, when you're being rude because you're standing up.
Because you're standing up.
And then a bunch of people come up and they want to shut you down because they feel like they have the right to shut you down now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Jake, you were talking. Now you're on screen. Now you're on camera. Someone over here sleeping at the wheel over here.
I was looking at the comments.
At the wheel. You got one job.
It's getting late.
You got one. All right. Is this
There
the
you go.
last
I
video,
switched
or
it.
do we got more?
I mean, we can stop it here.
Okay. You wanna get into some of the other stuff you gave me, like the YouTube shorts and stuff?
Well, I just wanted to, because she actually, I'll just talk about.
Okay.
She actually had an abortion,
Oh, okay.
and she's a single mom.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So she had a baby.
Great girl.
She had an abortion and then had a baby.
Yeah.
I don't know her situation, so I'm not going to judge what happened or whatever.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that, and she talks about the
Did she
struggles.
have
for
an
her.
abortion because all the people she talked to, it was medically necessary?
No, she had an abortion because she didn't want to give it up for adoption. And she, like, even her reasoning was horrible.
Right.
Like, she told on herself.
Yeah.
Which it was
Because
bad.
you did the same thing that everyone does,
Yeah.
which is I just don't want to have a baby right now.
And she went to Planned Parenthood.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
she was just contradicting herself the whole time. But what I really want to say is that she had even her father say, "Why don't you give it up for abortion?" Right?
Adoption.
Adoption. I'm sorry. And but she didn't have a man. I don't know what her situation was, but she was talking about the guy a little bit. There was some stuff going on there. I don't know if she had like a sugar daddy type thing going on because she used to be a model. Like,
God is
There was
great.
something weird there. But the point is that people get themselves in these situations sometimes, and no matter how bad it feels, and that's how she's talking. Like, this was, you don't understand where I was and how I felt, and even now I'm a single mom and trying to do it on my own. Like, she goes into like the victim thing, right? And how she relates to people, but it all starts with your outlook on life, right? How you see it, because you can see it from well, we can try, but I'm dealing with this and I'm dealing with that, or God's gonna make a way.
Yeah.
And
it is hard, but that's you're dealing with the consequences of choice. You know what I mean? It is not hard to be easy to be a parent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you trust God, there's always a way that He'll provide, that He'll lift you up out of it. That's what hope in Him is. And I'll say it starts with relationship, right? People always say the cliche thing, like, it's not about religion, it's about relationship, right, with God. But although it sounds cliche, it becomes cliche because people really don't live up to that. But the truth is, it is about how you relate to God.
Yeah.
And then you can relate to the world in the same way, right? But it starts with Him. And it is all about relationship. It's all about relationship with Him. It's about how we relate with each other. It's about how we relate with our families. Everything is about relation. How we relate to things in this world. How we relate to our job. Everything has to do with relation. And I think we're missing that more than everything else.
And they've created a system in where it feels like I said, the baby might have this, the baby might have that, plus the cost of daycare to sustain a child. It just seems so hard. So when you really put all those factors in, they're corralling these young girls and young women into making a terrible mistake because they made it like almost like that.
Well, they already made terrible mistakes.
Yeah.
Right?
But they want to be okay with the mistakes they made.
Yeah. We've a lot of us made terrible mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
In that aspect. So we talking to ourselves. So in that, it's about like, how do you not make those mistakes? It's based off of relationships. It's based off of who's holding you accountable, right? Who having good parents that are gonna talk to you about these things, or having people around you that you can trust in. These things are important, man.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna get into some of those clips that you sent, because a lot of that is going into relationships and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Jake's getting into the manosphere here. But first, I want to show this because I showed this to you guys, a couple of you guys on the plane. This was funny. This is someone protesting reasons why women have abortions, and they have a little pie chart here. Want to see if you guys can spot what's wrong with this pie chart.
Personal choice, 60%. Not your concern, 20%. Mind your business, 8%. F off, 22%.
I know Simone didn't pick up on that because your math's not the best.
I was
Yeah,
about to
it's
So basically, what you're saying is none of this adds up.
She's
No, just
off
like-
this.
Yeah.
She's
None of this
it's
is- There you go,
110
Lena.
110%.
There you go. Moan got it. Moan got it. Moan got it. Yeah, she's at 110%.
Hey, I can do some math, man.
She's at
I can do it.
110%. Yeah. So yeah, these are the type of people that are protesting this stuff.
And look at that. Look at the two betas in the back.
Yeah.
Real men support women's rights.
Beta. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Hoping.
They made that for him and made him.
Yeah,
come out.
exactly. Yep.
It's like
Hoping.
This is another woman at one of the protests, and she is pregnant.
Say that you were very pregnant.
I am very pregnant. I am due tomorrow.
Oh my goodness! And are you due to be induced, or are you gonna wait and see?
I'm gonna wait and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now tell me about what you have written on your stomach.
Sure. So this is a part of me right now. I'm Jewish, and according to Jewish law and tradition, life begins with the first breath and at birth.
That's not true.
Yeah, that is
That's not
a
true.
straight up lie. But you
Well,
could tell she's
what?
not. She doesn't seem like a practicing Jew.
Yeah.
If anything were to happen up until then, that it is part of me and it is my decision. It's part of my body. It's like a limb. I mean, it is a significant part of
Okay.
me. It's my decision.
That's probably.
I thought.
Yeah. It's
That's in the Talmud somewhere.
It's probably liberal Jewish.
Yeah.
Modern Jewish.
I thought she was gonna start saying something smart. Then it just turned dumb.
Yeah.
Because when I saw that, in my mind, I guess maybe you have to be a different type of person. But when I saw "not get a human" written across this big old pregnant belly,
Yeah.
to me, I would think that should humanize what's inside.
Yeah. Right.
I see it as the opposite. I
Yeah.
thought she was gonna start saying something smart, and then it went left. So.
Yeah, I thought she was trying to say this ironically, like you guys think this is not yet a human, you know.
Right.
But no, she's
That would
saying
need a question mark.
she thinks it's not yet a human until it comes out.
Wow.
So
Poor thing.
yeah, y'all get it. I just wanted to show that real quick.
Maybe.
Disastrous. Oh, and then before we get to yours, I got to show this one because this is
Whoopi
this is
versus
Whoopi. This is the View. Whoopi versus Whoopi.
I don't want to force anybody. I don't want anybody coming in my house telling me how to raise my daughter and what she needs because they don't know. Well, you know, it's my rights and okay. But I don't care. I will tell you, this is my body. And nobody, you know, you got people telling me I got to wear a mask or don't wear a mask or do this. Everybody wants to tell me what to do, but you won't let me make my decision about my body. You are not the person to make that decision. My doctor and myself and my child, that's who makes the decision. We need to do this, and it's not gonna allow us to be without masks until we all do it, because quite frankly, I'm not going outside until I know everybody outside has had the shot. When you tell me what I need to do with my doctor and my family, how dare you? How dare you tell us what to do? Well, put a damn mask on, because, you know, I'm sick of talking about your rights. Let's talk about my rights. My rights are as important to me as yours are to you. I don't want to get sick. Put a bloody mask on, man. Girl, please stop talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just got banned.
He did get banned from Twitter for backing up Jordan Peterson.
But he didn't even say anything. I think it was who was talking about Tim Pool was talking about he referred to Elliot Page as Ellen Page.
Yeah, that's what gets you. You can get banned for that on Twitter.
But
it's called dead naming.
Dead naming. That's what it's called.
So a lot of these videos, it's just about like how we can get lost in the mess of trying to figure out the complication of things. Because even like one of the biggest things she kept saying, like, it's so complicated and nuanced, right?
Mhm.
But it's only that way because we're in a depraved society.
Yeah.
We're in a, I don't like to say it, but it is about sin. We open up gates and doors to places we don't have any business being in. And then we try to figure that stuff out on our own when we can't, we trying to swim in something that we can't see in the dark.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why we have to come to the light. And then it gets set back to just a beginning and simple thing. right? That's
Yeah.
what God does for us. But it just cracks me up how people try to make sense out of unsensical
Nonsense.
relationships.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, so we got this video. Why is it so quiet?
But then once you get her, once you smash,
She's
it's
not the
just,
baddest chick no more.
exactly.
She takes her makeup off.
Exactly. It's just like
She takes her wig off.
you're not even reaching out to her no more. You're not texting her constantly. You're not double texting her. Like it's just like dang, and now she's tripping over you.
She lied to me from the beginning. You know why?
Why?
Because she don't look like she look with her makeup on. She walks in, she takes her wig off. She has a fake butt. She got her shit worked on her stomach. You're not who you are for real.
But shouldn't men accept that though?
Why?
Because you're not accepting her for her real self. Like
her fake self.
This is the delusion of the modern woman,
fake
man.
self. That's just her best self. And what they say.
Her best self.
If he can't accept me at my worst, he don't deserve me at my best. Period.
Well, you're not showing him your worst.
Yeah.
This is the problem. This is the problem. These women don't present themselves at their worst. They present themselves in a fake version.
Well,
of
not the
themselves.
word. I think it's like they're natural.
Natural, yeah. Not
Right?
their worst.
Well,
maybe.
no, because your worst would be like, because you could say natural, but I'm saying like even like when you wake up in the morning, you know, you at your worst, right? So
Jamie's like, let me see how that looks.
Yeah, let me see you like that.
And that's literally just on the physical sense. That's not even talking about like understanding her or any of those. Like,
yeah,
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm not interrupting y'all. I was on the same line because I'm, I obviously have something to say about that because
Go
I
ahead.
wear makeup, and I don't think this is fair to do at all. Only in the sense that, say in a worldly sense, when people do their thing and they hook up or whatever, you only brought her because what she looked like, and then you don't want to. Now this should go for her as well because she realized what she's dealing with. Because if he took you home based off of what you look like, you have to realize what you're dealing with. So that you shouldn't even be mad at him at all.
Exactly.
But
Like if
on
you're,
top of that-
go ahead.
on top of that, for the guys who still have that that thought process, but they're applying it to a woman they'd like to date more than just take her to bed, and they want to actually date her. If they're coming at it with that thought process, that is also a problem because you're only concerned about what she looks like to you, but you wouldn't know who she was. Say she walks down the street in her made up self. That caught your eye. But she's the same person with the same beautiful qualities, personality, giving, caring, loving, whatever. You would have never known that because she didn't catch your eye. And that's the part that's not fair.
Well, let's keep it real though. Men are visual creatures, and
We know that.
what men and women are attracted to are two different things. So if you can make the comparison to like if a man presented himself in a certain way, like what she's talking about. So what if you meet a dude and you run into this guy, he's got on a $10,000 suit, he's driving a Maserati, and he's like, balling somewhere, and a woman is like, ooh, he's attractive to me, you know what I mean? And then when you come to find out that was his boy's car, that was his dad's suit,
He rented it.
it wasn't real. It wasn't
that's
real.
A problem in itself because, well, like I said, it's a mindset. For me, that doesn't attract me personally. So for me, that example, I don't care about any of that anyway.
Right.
None of that matters to me. For a girl that does matter to, she has a problem because why are you attracted to that?
But this is what I'm
Aren't you
saying.
attracted to
Same
who's
thing.
driving
It's
the
the
car,
same. It's the same
Yeah.
concept though. Like for the man that is attracted to the fake butt, the fake boobs, and all the makeup. Why are
Yeah.
you attracted to that? But it's also why are you presenting that because you want a certain thing. So if the woman is presenting herself in a way to be attracted by the type of guy that wants those things, she's gonna get what she's gonna get, which just like the dude that presented himself that way, he's gonna get a gold digger because that's what he's presenting. So you're gonna get what you deserve in that scenario.
You're attracting
Well-
what you're presenting yourself as.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like this. Like I got a quick example. Like, okay, take away the money and all that stuff like that. What if you went out to the club and you met a guy and your requirements was 6 foot? So he was 6 foot. Your requirement was curly hair. So he had curly hair. You brought him home. And while you guys are getting ready, because he looks exactly like what you want, But he takes off his shoes and his platform, so he's 5'7".
Right.
And he takes off his hat, and the curls go in. He's really bald.
It was a toupee. Yeah.
It was a toupee.
Yeah.
No girl.
No girl is
would
going to
go for
accept that.
because they're immediately gonna stop it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
The difference
that's-
is men will stay around to
Yeah.
have sex with the girl, and that's the end of it.
Right.
But the minute you take off your platform shoes and you're 5'7", or the minute you take off your hat and you're bald, it's over.
But all of that is living in a cesspool.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
All of it.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
just cesspool living.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's so you have to whatever you think about. Like, where do your desires come from that you attract these things? It's because you're thinking about it. It's because you're watching it.
Yeah.
And you're visualizing these things. And the more
so you're
you do
building a
that,
desire for it.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
Anytime anytime you're letting your eyes make all your decisions for you, you're gonna end up getting deceived.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
I think all of it is rooted in a natural thing, though.
I'm just trying to point out that the difference is once the man reveals himself and the lack of what he present himself to have, it's done. The girl doesn't want to have
Right.
sex.
She's no longer attracted to you.
The man
will still go through.
The
with
man
it,
will still go through with
giving
the
her
act.
the false sense of, well, he still likes me.
Yes.
No, he doesn't. He just was like, well, I'm already here. So I
I'll
might
do
as
it.
well take it down,
That's the
and then I'm
difference.
never going to talk to you again.
Right. The minute that
That's
happens with the girl,
hurtful.
what's that?
Sorry. No, I was just saying that's kind of hurtful. Because
I mean-
I wish, honestly, I wish that a man would do the same thing that a woman would do, and just like, yeah, I'm good. And
But,
just
but
not
men and
wait.
women aren't different in that way.
No. I know that. But I'm just saying that the fact that a man would go through with it and then give this woman a false sense of hope is like it is her. That's kind of hurtful.
But
Like,
I would
wish
say-
he would just do the same thing and just like walk off. Just like I'm not gonna do none of it.
but you
Because-
set yourself up for that.
Yep.
Because
both parties.
right.
parties
So it might be hurtful, but at the same time, you put yourself in that position to get hurt.
Right.
If your standard is greater, then you would never put yourself in that position
Exactly.
in the first place. And that's why we have to hold each other accountable,
Right.
because why are you going after that? Right. And I'm bringing this back to abortion because this is the reason why
This is
we
the
got
culture.
these problems
This
in the
is
first place.
This is the culture that
It's
creates.
based on
Yeah.
physicality.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and so we're talking about these things, right? And that's where we get into the weeds of it when
Right.
it's like, this is why we got the culture we got. It's
Yeah.
a deaf culture. Just like you said, it's hurtful, but we're hurting ourselves. We're killing ourselves.
Right.
We're putting ourselves in these bad predicaments, bad positions that not only could cause you to get pregnant, but could cause you to get STDs or
Right.
whatever else. you know what I mean?
Monkeypox.
Ain't no life there, but
And then, but and that's the worst part about it is that it's all done under the banner of dating.
Right.
It's called dating, and it's like this is just
Right.
wrong.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next
actually-
clip. Okay, go ahead,
I
Lena.
was gonna say, I watched a really interesting documentary recently, and I had also was in a comment thread and had made a comment regarding someone say they said to me they were using the argument about the clump of cells argument, right?
Yeah.
And my rebuttal to that was something that I had said a long time ago, that we as adult humans are also just clumps of cells, but we just have a different physical appearance. Because if you think about it, due to cell renewal and cell death, and how bodies constantly, we are literally physically not the same people we were 7 years ago.
Right.
Every 7 years, you are a physically different person.
Yep.
So we're the same. Just because you were born into the world doesn't make you a different. You're still a ball of cells,
Right.
but you have a different appearance.
Yeah.
And what I was saying to them was the documentary that I had watched, that's actually at the root of racism.
Mm.
And the reason why a lot of people have racist tendencies is because they have the inability to empathize with their out group. So if it doesn't look like them, or they can't relate in a way with their eyes, they can't relate with that person's feelings, thoughts, and opinions. So they're not people.
Right. So
And
it
I think
becomes
that's the mindset that people take when they think about a fetus. Well, it
Mhm.
doesn't look like me. It doesn't feel like I do. It doesn't think like I do. So it can't possibly be anything important as I am, because it doesn't look like me.
right. If
And
you don't
that-
if you have a lack of empathy, you're gonna have a lack of understanding
Yeah.
for others.
Here's a meme that goes along with what you're talking about. I saw this on Twitter, and I just was like, "Oh, I gotta show this." because they both stem from the same argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not really humans. They're not really people. So they don't deserve rights. You know what I mean? And Tim Pool posted this, and he actually put they were both pushed by Democrats. Like,
Wow.
which is interesting. But okay, let's get back to these clips. So we got another woman here who's gonna speak on something.
Tristan Thompson. Tristan has a third baby mama. He was willingly sleeping with this woman unprotected, nutting in
Basketball
her.
player.
Okay?
Right.
He knew what the outcome could be.
Right.
But as soon as she got pregnant, he said, well, I'm not going to be present. So why are you even having the baby? So why are you having unprotected sex with a woman when you don't even plan on being present for a possible baby that could happen?
Okay, listen to
Let's
this,
take
though.
future.
Hear me out. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Talk
Let's
future.
take future.
Talk future.
10 he has like, what, 10
10 of them.
10.
God.
NBA young boy.
What? 10 of them. All of them girls. So you have one sexually irresponsible man, but you have 7 sexually irresponsible women. Or in Future's case, you said 9 sexually irresponsible women. Because why would you...
blaming the woman.
Listen to this. If you're a woman,
This
why are you
Poor
laying
Man
down with
Podcast.
the man that you know that does not take care of his children?
Got her. Got her. Got her. Like, that's the first thing I was thinking. That's the first thing I'm thinking.
I mean,
is
he's
like,
showing you he has a track record.
Yeah. Like someone who is proven to be irresponsible with his seed and his sex life, but you still gonna lay down with this man?
Yep. Because he's an NBA
And you
star.
have proof. Yeah, you have proof.
I know women in the hood that they make excuses for these men. Because the men ain't going to tell them they're irresponsible.
No.
They don't take care of the kids.
They're gonna blame all the
They're
other
gonna
women.
blame the
Yeah.
other women. Every one of those women are horrible. And then they're just going to listen to them because they don't want to see it until it happens to
Because a
them.
lot of them are insecure and they just like the fact that this man wants me. Especially if, think about it, if it's a handsome, muscular NBA player who's rich, you're going to make all the excuse. You're going to do so much mental gymnastics to tell yourself that he just likes me more than the rest of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a little bonus where if she gets to keep him, then it validates her above all of the other women.
Now it's a come up.
Child support is a bonus too.
Yeah, child support. Now she gets a whole new lifestyle because she got pregnant by a rich guy.
Right. Oh,
You know,
50 tell him, have a baby by me, become a millionaire.
be a millionaire. Like that's a selling point. You know, I was just telling Jake about the new Drake video. Did you guys see
I
this?
think I did.
Yeah, have you seen this, Lena?
I don't listen to Drake.
Me either. But I saw the video. I saw the video because
I'm not aware of anything he's doing. I didn't even know there was a new video.
yeah, he just dropped a new album apparently last week, like surprise album on everybody. But the point of it was I saw it because of the people I follow. They were commentating on like the idea of the video, which was like him. He sets it up like I'm getting married. I'm finally doing the right thing. He's putting on his suit. He's like, I'm ready to do this. And then he goes to the altar. And when he gets there, it's a whole line of women all in wedding dresses
waiting for him.
lining up to marry him one by one. They're all marrying him. You know what I mean? And it's the idea of like, he's the type of guy that
could do that.
Yeah. And they'll all
And he's
line
actually-
up to do it.
actually, he's insulting them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They will all get in line to marry him because what it means for their life.
Right. Well, it's like
Mhm.
Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon is allowed. He's boasting. He's pretty
Yeah.
much like,
right.
Bragging about fathering children.
Yeah.
And there's no way you can be a responsible father and have multiple children,
Yeah.
different women. You're not living with all those people.
Right. Yeah.
So there's no way you can be a good influence from a worldly standpoint.
Mhm.
You can be a good influence and raise these guys. And I'm not talking money because
Yeah.
obviously he has that. But I'm talking about the relationship building between a father, son, or daughter or whatever is to be there for them.
Yeah.
There's no way you can do that.
Right.
So what type of human beings is he going to develop and put out into the world? They'll do the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
But what he is doing is propagating that message to people to say, I'm good.
Yep.
Look at him.
Well, that's because he has the money to do it, and he has the fame.
He has the status, yeah.
He did have one that looked like Masande in his video moon. So.
Masande.
Yeah, because they were all like Instagram models.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe all the chicks
So
that he
all
was
of their
marrying.
their Instagram pages instantly blew up.
Because he put that way. That was the incentive. He
Yeah.
tagged all of them in the music video,
Yeah.
like
So they
all,
came.
so they would do it, and then, you know, now they all blow up because they were in Drake's video. You know,
But that's our fault, though. Again,
He's looking out.
Male culture teach us to validate sex. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So we give them. We there's a lot of thirst trap.
The men who follow these women,
like
they-
their pictures.
right.
We give them validation
Right.
because those women will never talk to you. You know what I'm
No.
saying? They're pretty much just building up their fame and fortune.
well, they
through-
show you they're all. That video is the personification of what we were just talking about. All those chicks are lined up to marry Drake.
Right.
All of them. There was like 30 women. So, and the statistic on it is that like the top, 80% of women want 20% of the men. The
That's
top
just 10,
20,
yeah.
top 10% of men.
Yeah.
You know, so they're all fighting over the
For
same
guy.
guys.
Yeah.
You know, so they're showing you right there. All the top Instagram models want one guy. You know what I'm saying? And all you guys are following these chicks, sending them fire emojis.
That's kind of like what this next one is talking about.
Okay, let's check it out.
That's funny.
Men do not hold their friends accountable. We know statistically there are more single black mothers than any other race. So I have to ask, it couldn't possibly be black men holding other black men accountable.
This is why that logic is flawed, right? Because what you're not taking into account is that a lot of women have baby daddies by who already have kids. You know what a shocking stat is? Is that 30% of men in this country today are still virgins.
Yeah.
And that 3% of men have no kids and no woman, are single. But women choose a select few men to constantly have kids with. So you cannot blame all men for you continuously choosing a select few men who are already baby daddies. That's not saying that all men are not accountable. That's saying you're choosing unaccountable. Those are two different things.
So it's
Men do
connected to what you said,
Yeah.
just in a different way.
Right, right.
Like it's a very small amount of men that the same women keep choosing.
Right. Well, they meet the societal standard over a certain height, money
Within the
looks.
culture.
Yeah,
within
of
the
course.
culture.
But across, white girls
Across
do
the
it
board.
too. Yeah,
Yeah,
white
across
girls do
the
it too.
board.
They say the same thing too.
Yeah.
Maybe not. They don't say they want a soldier or they
Right.
want a gangster, but
Right.
they want the bad boys too.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just we
But
do
it's-
it too. Men do it too. You know.
Yeah.
But it's astronomically worse. I'm not gonna say black. I'm gonna say urban. I like
Urban,
saying
yeah.
urban because I think that's
Yeah.
more.
They're more
correct.
vocal about
Right.
it. I feel.
You know?
Right.
They're more vocal.
You can capture more with the.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you have like how many I know women that are nice girls, but they just are caught up in that mentality. They got like babies by dudes that got 11 kids, 12 kids, right? And they make excuses for it.
How do you have 11, 12 kids? I'm struggling with one.
Because that's when that's promoted, though. I think it's promoted
Because they ain't taking care of them.
Yeah.
What was the name of that movie? With Lisa Ray and whoever, I can't remember whoever else was in it. What was that stripper movie?
Players Club.
Oh, Players Club.
That one.
That's the movie that made her famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember the name of it. But, do y'all know that that movie is actually extremely realistic? That is actually what's going on in the black community. That's how these girls. That's entry level. That's
I've never watched that movie, so
I didn't watch the movie either. I didn't watch it.
don't
in
even know
school,
who
but
Lisa Ray
I
is.
watched it, but it's been a long.
It's been a long time since I've seen it. But
You
that's the
don't know
only
who
movie.
Lisa Ray
That's the
is?
only movie I know her from.
You especially? That would be
right up your
that would be right up your
That's what I'm
alley.
saying.
Bro.
Yeah.
She looks like my type.
Her name was
Red
Diamond in the movie. That's all I remember. She was
I
a
don't even
stripper.
know.
Her name was Diamond.
I don't even know.
Well,
who
have
Lisa
y'all?
Ray is.
Okay, you've heard of Bad Girls Club, right?
Yeah.
Moon, you heard of Bad Girls Club?
Yeah.
What I'm trying.
Moan's turning a new
what I'm
leaf.
trying to say-
I don't know what
trying
that
to
is.
I
say
don't know
is
what it is.
Bad Girls Club is essentially Boys Club.
What is it? Because I don't
It's a
know.
reality show, right?
It is. It's a reality show.
Okay.
Right.
But thing about Bad Girls Club, I was actually at this. This is how I know stuff is real. Is reality, yes, but it's also real. Is all considered entry level, and them girls. I didn't see the Drake video, but if he did tag those girls' Instagrams, there's a reason behind that. I was actually approached more than once by guys who wanted to make me an expert, and guys who in my community who was trying to get me on to go to the Bad Girls Club.
Yeah, I
and,
know her.
Like all this, huh?
No, I just showed Mona a picture of Lisa Ray.
But yeah, so that stuff is actually happening in our communities, and it's like a whole industry, and it's an organization, and it's entry level. If you want to get to the level of like a Rihanna or a Sierra, you might not be able to touch Beyonce status, but if that's where you're trying to go, there are entry level things you have to do, and it starts out in escorting, stripping,
Did y'all see Beyonce's new album cover?
Please don't. Please don't.
Nope.
Please don't.
What do you mean, please don't?
No, I haven't.
It's all on topic.
Let's see. I didn't see it.
She let's just say she got some work done.
Oh yeah.
She has some work done?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it.
But yeah, that the fact that if Drake really tagged 30
Yeah, he did.
Instagram models,
I seen it. He did.
sex work is entry level. If you do any type of sex work, that is your entry into the industry.
Right.
And then a lot of other stuff actually really is like it's sacrificial. I actually personally, well, I can't say I personally know her per se, but I had personal interactions with somebody who's currently on Bad Girls Club now.
Yep, she got some boobs.
Yeah.
She got
Well,
some
I think
fake
part of it
boobies.
too is the money, right? A lot of these girls that are on Instagram, all these other sort of social media if it wasn't for the
That's
money.
her album cover.
Time out though. Why does that look like bad photoshopped? Right? Don't it look bad?
Yeah,
The
it
horse?
does. It does. But yeah.
Yeah, it is about money too.
Of course.
The women. There's more women. There's more lady pimps. A lot of pimps are women. It's
Yeah,
not
they were called
necessarily-
madams. Back in
Yes.
the old west, the
Yep.
brothel houses were run by a head madam.
Yep.
You know, I just think now it's just that, like the guy was saying, the statistics shows that there's a lot of men that are actually virgins. A lot of girls don't want those type of guys because they're considered corny. They're considered,
I have yet to meet a male virgin, to be honest.
yeah, they're out there.
I haven't
They
met.
are they're out there. They just said 30%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're out
I'm
there.
sorry. The
There's
only
a
one
lot
that the only one that I've met that I can confirm for sure is a virgin is my son. I'm sorry. That's it.
I think the guys, like, it's mostly younger men.
Yeah.
Of the Gen Z and millennial generation.
Right, and plus
Like
you have to
16?
understand too. A lot of men won't come clean with that because
Yeah.
that's intrinsically tied to your manhood.
Yeah.
So you're not going to volunteer. I think it's more precious to hear a woman say I'm a virgin because it's praised. And when you hear that when a young man says I'm a virgin, he's looked upon as weak.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you may not even know because a guy would never tell you that because he's going to be fearful that he's going to be judged. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's another cultural issue that we need to change too. Is that men's manhood are tied to the amount of chicks that they conquered. You know,
Manhood it's tied to a lot of hard
conquest.
Yeah.
things that don't matter.
How much you can drink.
Right.
Yeah, that's another
Just
horrible
dumb
thing.
stuff.
All right, let's keep going
Damage your liver.
because we getting late.
Because me, I'm like 1,000, 1,000,000 women out here. And we work every day to take care of these kids. We do everything we have to do for these kids. And these men just skate. And we lay down with men and don't protect ourselves. We lay down with men and we don't protect ourselves. So I don't want to badge your courage for the mistakes that I've made.
It's not like
Okay,
that.
yeah,
It's
but
not
you know,
like that.
but this is not about they do, I do, we do. This is about women seeking validation in the bed with a man. It's about us being
That's why she got
broken
canceled.
and looking for somebody else to fill us up. That's what this is about. Not about you taking care of the child
that you had with a man when you didn't have a condom or pill or something. We all have to take responsibility because the children are suffering.
And I'm upset.
I think what really got her in trouble is she made the statement that black women are out of order. She said that.
Yeah.
And I think she said it on the podcast.
Yeah, and it wasn't necessarily because of this one, but it was one to do with a black woman who was very abusive to her son.
Mm-hmm.
And as she began to interview, it unfolded.
Yeah.
You know, where she basically, you know, she wasn't physically, but she was verbally abusive to him.
Who was that?
Iala Van Zandt.
She had a TV show on Oprah's network.
Oh, okay.
I just remember watching the episode with DMX.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
Well, I don't think a lot of people take male trauma into consideration.
Yeah.
I think if you're a man, you talk and you speak about that, especially abuse.
Mhm.
And we're not talking sexual, but there could be sexual.
Yeah.
But physical abuse, verbal abuse, or whatever. You know what it leads to.
A lot of men that like have weird sexual proclivities were like, abused when they were young teens or sometimes boys, and it's not looked at the same if it's from a woman. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not looked at the same. Like,
well, men do that too because what we do is we praise.
Right.
If you sleep with an older woman,
Yeah.
like you see it with and this is predominantly in the white world,
Yeah.
where most of the female teachers sleep
Yeah.
with these boys,
Yeah.
and they're really imprinting on them.
and
you
the
know?
comedians will make jokes
They'll
about
make
it.
jokes
like,
about, and the
oh,
men, you'll
that's
see,
not-
oh man, I wish that was me.
Yeah.
But you know that young boy, if he's 14 sleeping with a 30-something-year-old woman, no other girl his age is ever going to compare.
Right.
So she's imprinted on him.
Mhm.
So he'll never be able to, unless he gets therapy,
Right.
he'll never be able to compare. He's going to compare.
But not even,
you know,
not even just that. He's not developed in a way where he can actually process that.
Yeah.
right. But the woman who did that is not looked upon as a predator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is sad. All right, we got this video from Andrew Tate. He is a predominant manosphere guy.
New on
now.
the scene.
New on the scene. Well, he's been around for a minute.
He's been around?
Yeah.
I know he's a kickboxer.
Yeah, he was a kickboxer, but he's been into the manosphere lately. So let's see what he got to say.
You go to Russia, for example, when you're a high-value man. Do you think these mafia guys in Russia are loyal? You think Putin's loyal? These big boys? No. I mean, this is accepted over there. If you speak to a Russian girl, she's like, oh, he's rich. Of course he has his fun, but I'm his wife. It's normal, completely normal. It's only in countries like America and England where a woman's going to go, I would never take that. I'd never accept that. Oh, you're going to let a man pay for your entire life. You're going to push a merc. You're going to have this fucking big G. But if he talks to some bitch one night while he's out drunk, you're going to fucking pretend that that's the worst thing in the world. That's Western bullshit feminist thinking. If you remove the feminism element, that doesn't exist in most places in the world. You go to Russia and live in Russia, every single high-level guy has fucking 3 or 4 mistresses. All of them. Let's say I have a girl and I take her on holidays. I look after her. She's financially...
Yeah. So he said that's Western feminist thinking.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
What are you talking about,
No, it's
dude?
not. That is nonsense.
I think it has to do with the fact that we're predominantly in a Christian society. It's in Russia because you got socialism over there.
Right.
That's a
And
whole
men
different.
have all the power.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the mentality. Like,
Yeah,
what did that
Constitution
breed?
ain't the same.
I mean, it's technically not a socialist country
Right.
now, but what
Yeah.
did it breed? It breeded a whole,
Yeah.
like from the whole, what is it, KGB and all that. This huge mafia came out of that, right? This huge corruption, even worse corruption came out of that.
Yeah. But it was here too, though. I think, Playboy culture and multiple mistresses was part of American culture, big time. You look at the movies, the Rat Pack, and all these kind of things. Hugh Hefner, that was praised. That was considered.
Yeah.
To
I mean,
a certain
it's
sense.
here, but it's not. It's there's still a foundation.
I was going to say it wasn't ingrained in the
Yeah.
foundation. Well, yeah, it wasn't ingrained in the normal foundation.
It was.
Can
it
I
was
say normal?
Yeah,
Normal foundation.
I remember watching that kind of stuff. Like, I love James Bond. James Bond, part of the whole concept was he slept with any woman he wanted all of the time. You know what I mean? But over there, there's no, like you said, because it's a communist society. The men have all the power. They can do whatever.
Didn't they kill off James Bond?
No. No.
Here?
Oh yeah, the last one. You're right.
The
they
new
did.
one.
Oh,
Yes, he did.
And the
But-
black woman took over.
I don't know. Did he?
But this,
They haven't announced
this guy is a high valued man,
quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Thank you, Mo. No, because they didn't see my
Didn't
quotes.
see his air quotes. His air quotes.
He's a high valued man,
Yeah.
right? And this is so you're giving this guy a platform, saying some stupid stuff, right? That because he got some money, he thinks has the right to say, right? And then who's listening to him? All these women who are Instagram models that
Yeah.
are trying to get men like
Right,
him.
right.
They don't care about what he's saying. They
Or
just figuring out
young men that
Young men,
want to
yeah.
be
Who
him.
hate- yeah, yeah.
true.
Who or hate women
Well,
and
they-
want to hear
yeah.
women get smacked down.
Yes.
Because we're about to show a fresh and fit clip, which is that's their whole platform.
Mhm.
Is young incel men that
yeah.
want to see women get cursed out.
Because they're hateful against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Andrew Tate is that whole high value man concept. You know, Kevin Samuels was a big, proponent of that.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before. Like their idea of what is high value is already skewed.
Of course.
Because high value is only centered around men who
Money,
make
yeah.
a certain amount of money and have a certain amount of status and power and clout. That makes you high value. That gives you the right to do whatever you want and have any woman you want, which in the flawed sense of society and people in their sin, in the chaos that we're in right now,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is what it is.
Yeah.
But all of that needs to be changed in order to stop this chaos from growing.
Bottom line, it makes a bad ruler.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It's
Like-
tied to the king.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, the test is this. All these men that are talking like that,
Yeah.
the minute they have a daughter,
Mhm.
it all changes.
Right.
You know, look at all the rappers that have all the songs they made. Look at T.I. a few
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
Dame Dash.
Dame Dash.
I don't know if it all changes.
No, it doesn't change in the spiritual sense, but it changes
changed
their mindset,
It
their
changes.
attitude.
It doesn't change for them. It
No,
just
no, no.
changed what they want you to do.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they're going to keep doing the same
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
Just don't do it to my daughter. That's all.
Right.
All right. Let's show what these knuckleheads are talking about.
Views on the current state of men and women right now when it comes to relationship, feminism, being progressive, the deterioration of the family unit.
Well, it's definitely happening. There's also an increase in mental illness overall, so I don't know how much of it has to do with that. Or maybe a majority of it is caused by the birth control pill. The birth control pill is really hard on women. It makes completely sane women go crazy, and people don't talk about it. It's like, oh, side effect. And then we have people who are really far left being like, every male is prone to violence and like don't associate with them, and they're just like bad people, can't change. I think that there are people who are on the other side, men in particular, who are like, oh, all women are X. I think both sides contribute to the issue and are widening this gap so that men and women can't communicate.
What are your views?
Oh, okay. So that wasn't even fresh. That was Michaela Peterson
Yeah.
talking. Okay. That's Jordan Peterson's daughter, for those that don't know, who is pretty profound man. And that's his daughter who recently talked about her coming to Christ and like just
Just got
discovering
married.
that. Yeah, she just got married. But yeah, so yeah, she made a lot of valid points there. We talk about the birth control thing all the time, like the effects that has on women that I don't even think we understand, like medically,
hormonally,
psychologically,
Yeah.
all of the effects of that. And I think we won't know for decades from till now. You know what I
Just
mean?
like
Can
how
you-
they tried to hide the jab.
Yeah.
Effects.
Can you talk on that, Lena? You have any experience with the pill?
Yeah. And I don't like it. Most of us don't. Hormonal birth control is awful.
Were you on it like all through teenage years and stuff?
No, I didn't have to, but my sister did.
Okay.
It was only because, she had some complications.
What complications?
I was gonna say they tie it to don't they tie
Menstrual
it to
cycle.
like period? Yeah.
Menstrual
Yeah,
cycle,
menstrual cycle. Yeah.
So they try to do it as like
Regulator?
to regulate it to maybe about because thought that misconception is that they give you birth control to balance your hormones, but that's not what birth control does. It doesn't
Yeah.
balance. It doesn't balance anything. It stops everything.
Sends
And
it
it
out of whack.
interrupts things. It does not balance. So I don't know why they do that, but
Right.
I was on it.
It's funny how Planned Parenthood is and Margaret Sanger was a huge proponent of birth control. She's the one that actually got it passed through legislation.
Yeah, that stuff is brutal. That stuff is
Yeah.
brutal. Even Plan B pill. Even
Yeah.
Plan B will do you. At least the first time. Because the first time I ever took one, I was so sick.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to take it again. But later on, maybe your body's change and reactions are different. The next time that I did take one, I didn't have the same problem. But for the most part, hormonal contraceptives are not great for us. It's
Can I ask you a question if you don't mind me asking this?
Sure.
Your sister, does she have children?
No.
Okay. Is she married or trying to have children?
I don't know about that.
No, the only reason I'm asking this is because, see, and this is I can only speak for myself, but my wife was on birth control before I met her, and I remember the first child was fairly, maybe a year or so after, and she got pregnant. But then the second one was, and she wasn't on birth control. But I remember going to the fertility doctor, and we talked a little bit. And I'm the kind of person where if I'm in front of a professional or someone who that's what they do, I want to ask them. So I said, hey, listen, I got a question. I said, and I've told you about this. I said, I asked him flat out, I said, do you think like the birth control pill or morning after pill has anything to do with like the fertility thing? And he swung his head around and he gave me a look. And he said, why you ask that? Because while I was there, I noticed it was fairly young women in there. Like young women that were all having fertility issues.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right. And we talked, and he said, listen, I'll put it to you this way. He's like, anything that was designed to trick your body into thinking that you were pregnant for a long, long period of time is going to have some effects. And he's like, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And that's what he told me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he didn't go into it. He didn't give me any conspiracy. He just said it's meant to trick you into. And I was like, okay. He's like, some girls can go a long time without having a period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not the natural function of the body.
Definitely not.
So,
and it's funny how like for centuries and even now in a lot of parts of the world to this day, women seem to be functioning fine without it.
Right.
And
Well, the look on his face when I asked him, like, he's surprised to hear that. And when he told, it's like you almost get the answer. I got the answer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
it's like asking if bologna is a healthy choice meat.
Yeah.
Is bologna good for you?
But it's almost like, because they can and they know that will get approved by insurance so fast. It's like the doctors that are giving out the weed cards. It was like you could go in there and be like, Doc, my finger, I got finger pain every day, Doc. I need a weed card. And they were like, I got you, buddy. You know what I mean? It's like women who will go in there and be like, my period's a little heavy, it's a little more painful, blah, blah, blah. They would be quick to be like, well, birth control, you need that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, did they really though?
Yeah.
There's also some medications that are not birth control at all, but they can affect certain hormones in women that will stop their periods.
Yeah.
And it's not even birth control. I've had experience with that as well. And the thing about and I can understand like what I'm sorry, his name, what's your name? I'm sorry.
James.
It is. I just want to make sure because I didn't want to say the wrong name and be wrong, but what you do, there may be some validity, to your thought process there. You're questioning, does it affect fertility? Because I noticed like every cycle, if you interrupt that cycle, I feel like from personal experience too many times, it confuses your body. And someone can go from having a regular cycle and never have any complications or problems to all of a sudden now you're starting to have a little bit of issues. And now it's like my body is not acting like my body. So there might be something to you asking that question. And I think that could be.
Yeah. And he didn't go into depth, but like I said, his answer,
told you what you needed to know.
Yes. Because he like I said, he swung his head around immediately and said, why you ask that? He's like, you're the first person to ask me something like that. And I was just curious,
Something that we didn't get to from the abortion debate. Matter of fact, if anybody wants to watch, it's almost a 3-hour debate.
Wow,
it's really long. So, but it's really good. So, if anybody wants to watch it, let me find it real quick. Of course, I brought it up, and then you know how YouTube is.
Yeah,
it's the Ellen Fisher podcast. So if anybody wants to look it up on YouTube, it's the Ellen Fisher podcast. So one thing they talked about on there was how because she kept on the God is Gray girl, the pro-choice girl. She kept saying that what are we going to do if these 600,000 babies that are now in the world that weren't there before because there's no abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the other girl, I can't remember her name. I think it's Leela.
Georgia says she's the hot girl.
Yeah.
The hot girl. She was saying that, well, there's an issue right now in Western civilization.
The birth rates are low.
We're not replacing
they're below
ourselves.
replacement
Right.
levels. Yeah.
So we would welcome that, to be honest with you.
And not only that, it's like that's not. You can't just say that these 600,000 pregnancies would happen, because if abortion is not an option, people will be a lot more selective with their, who can shoot the club up.
Mm-hmm. Or we're looking at, we have been taught to look at these people as a burden on society.
Yeah.
But what if out of those millions of people that were aborted, one of them were able to cure cancer.
Mm-hmm.
One of them were able to solve world hunger. One of them were able to, you know what I'm saying? From the standpoint of like as a society functioning, you know what I'm saying? I know I have no proof of this, but I feel like it's like when you look at slavery, right? The residual effect of many of those slaves became inventors.
Mm-hmm.
If we were taught that kind of history,
right,
to see how many of these slaves that were given menial tasks would be able to take something and be like, I could.
There's an easier way to do this.
There was so many patents made by people who were one or maybe two generations out of slavery.
Yeah.
These were considered the feeble-minded, ill-equipped people, like what Margaret Sanger deemed to be people not suitable for society, right? He was the terminology back then was way more graphic than it is now.
Yeah.
They wouldn't call them that today. But those are the people who invented the air condition, the cotton gin, cell phones, things like that, who all participate. Peanut butter. These are all people that were considered less than desirables. Right. Right?
Well, look at Israel. They were in bondage. They put a law to stop them from breeding, right?
Yep.
They tried to stop Moses from being born. But it happened. So there's like, even I guess like in a spiritual sense, look at Jesus.
Yeah.
Same thing. Right?
Yep.
So in a spiritual sense, like, do these things come around because maybe, to your point, like there are people that need to be born at a certain time when something is coming, right?
Right.
That is going to shift culture, that's going to shift the world,
and
in a
if
sense.
if the evil force that doesn't want certain things to come to pass can stop as many people from being born as possible, doesn't that give them a better
perpetuating
chance?
the culture of chaos?
Yep.
Because we have another example as we speak about eugenics and what it was designed for, to destroy the lesser than desirable, specifically the black race in America. But we know that it happened over in Europe too, and they were trying to destroy those people over there, the Jews and all these the Slavics and the Hungarians and all stuff like that. But let's take it and look at it from the standpoint of the people who were eugenicists. They decided they were going to create a unique, stronger society. And what did they do? They inbred it and created a bunch of
weirdos.
If all you have to do is do a little basic history
Right.
and go back and find out all of these monarchs, all of these
They thought
these
they were going to
kingdoms,
keep their bloodlines pure,
and they were
by
all
inbreeding.
they all died out at what, 30.
Yeah,
they all
right.
had medical conditions that
Right.
were like terrible.
They look like weird humans, like.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the pictures. If you ever look at the princes and they had like how they drew them and stuff like
Yeah.
that, many of them died out very young.
Yeah.
Because they were so heavily inbred. I mean, I don't know if it was close as sister and brother.
Yeah.
But I knew though it was like they were basically, they kept on breeding within the same bloodline. And if anybody knows anything about genetics, you'd understand that you and even though it's disgusting, what you do is you're basically breeding in the same traits over and over and over again. So if there's what's that?
Sorry, I just said copy paste.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
it's kind of like in sound. Like, I don't know if anybody understands how sound works, but when in sound, if you have two identical sound waves, and then you invert one of them, they cancel each other out. It becomes silence.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you have the same genetics breeding over and over and over again, they're gonna start to cancel
whatever
each
the
other.
deficiency is, that becomes dominant.
That becomes dominant.
Right.
Yeah.
So right then and there, if we were able to say, hey, listen, the eugenics you guys are talking about, here's the example of it.
Yeah.
And here, you know, but we ourselves really don't do a lot of research.
Right.
We just take what we hear and we run with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The foundations of that, to see where these societies, because that's where I mean, I love animals, but that's how they got the concept from overbreeding animals. In fact, what we're seeing with certain breeds of dogs and horses is basically close inbreeding. It
Pugs.
isn't. Yeah, pugs.
Pugs for sure.
They've bred them.
Bulldogs. That's why their noses are so flat.
And they can't breed. They can't physically give birth. They have literally bred mutants.
Yeah.
They've mutated the genes so much.
Yeah.
Now, it's considered, it's ironic because in the world of dogs, that's where eugenics was popularized.
Right.
Because they were able to get desired traits, right? From
Right.
the Shetland pony
Horses,
to
dogs,
the Clydesdale or the Great Dane to the Chihuahua. But one of the things they never talk about is that as they kept on doing this, basically these dogs couldn't even function.
Yeah.
They couldn't even breed, you know, and that's considered purebred.
Right.
They would consider that the Kennel Club, or whatever it is, would consider that to be pure of blood, and it's the entire
it's
opposite.
the opposite,
right?
It's the entire opposite of that.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? And they did it with humans. They were doing it with humans too. You know, they decided, well, hey, we can breed bigger, stronger slaves. Because even when you look at African Americans, they're, you know, genetically Africans, but they're different than because they were breeding bigger, stronger. They wanted as much work, and they thought they could do the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was a French geneticist. Claimed the geneticist that came up with the concept of, you know, the eugenics idea. You know,
was his name Eugene?
But don't bump.
Paul should like that one.
All right, I got a couple more videos to play before we wrap it up.
It's late. I mean, you don't have to.
Okay, we pretty
Play
much.
the last one.
There's two more that you gave me. They're quick. They're shorts. They're YouTube shorts.
Romantic notion that love conquers all. If two people truly love each other, respect each other, that whatever hardships are thrown at them throughout their life, their love will be able to see them through. I disagree. I think there are a lot of practical life factors that, however unromantic it sounds, can contribute to a relationship working out or a relationship ending. And that could be things like distance, work, belief systems, values, sickness. It could be financial. People often forget to talk about money in relationships, and that can cause huge rifts. Love does not conquer your bank account, but ultimately love is not the same thing as compatibility. And I think compatibility is something that we have to get really honest with ourselves about.
I think that's complete bull.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering, what is this? Is just nonsense. What she's saying.
But but it's just along the lines of relationship and how people are going the wrong way. Like, there is a practicality to things, but those things have to be rooted in love.
Right.
You know, love does conquer all. We get that from the Bible.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not the love that you desire.
Exactly.
It's not the love that you want. Love is not love.
Right.
Love is not defined by itself.
You can't. It's circular logic, but there's something in the manosphere that they always talk to women about. They always catch them in this, because women always tout this unconditional love. I'm looking for unconditional love, and they always catch them in this fallacy because what your idea of unconditional love is not real. You know what I mean? But there is unconditional love. It's just like you said. It's the love you desire. Because their idea is a man is going to love me no matter what, you know what I mean? But do you have that kind of love for a man? Do you understand what that takes? You know what I mean? Because they always say, okay, so do you believe in unconditional love? Yeah, of course I do. Okay, you can love someone unconditionally. Okay, what if he cheats on you? No, then I'd be done. So then it's not unconditional. The conditions are he has to only be with you. There's conditions. You know what I mean? So I think that people are under that mindset of this idea of love. And a lot of that is just romanticized through movies and the way we grow up believing what love is through a romantic idea.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there is no attachment.
Specifically for young girls, though.
Absolutely.
More
I would definitely like to add something on that.
Go ahead.
Because this is definitely something that I've thought about myself. I think most people's idea of love is not love. It's unhealthy obsession. Because I have the only reason I say it like that is even because in examining self and self-reflection, I've realized that I've thought that I was in love with someone. It wasn't that I was in love. I was just obsessed with them. I was obsessed with my idea of who I thought they were. I was obsessed with how I felt and like thinking that, oh, well, this person, I'm around this person, I feel this type of way, so it must mean that I love them. No, that's not love. Not that. That's that whole in love thing. That's not love. That is not real love. It's the only like I said, description that I can come up with is an unhealthy obsession with that person and with how you feel when you're around that person. You become addicted to. It's like a reward system, and it's not love. Not love at all.
And to add to that, I think what we don't discuss is that once you have sex with someone, there's a soul tie. So now the things that's supposed to happen naturally is now out of order, and you have a connection with them physically, and the soul tie is strong. And maybe this person isn't right for you, but their sex feels good to you.
Yeah.
And it feels better than so you start equating love to that. And a lot of times people are, this person is abusive, they're a liar, they're a cheater, male or female, but you're stuck with them because that's your connection. That's your soul tie. You know what I mean? And now you meet somebody, you ask God to bless you, you meet somebody, and this person has everything. They have the spiritual connection, they're good, the finances, but because your soul tie is so strong in terms of the sexual aspect, you can't give up that person. So you're still fantasizing. You don't want to, but you're still locked into that. And until you ask God to forgive you and change your mind, you're going to get stuck into that. So you have this person now that you love, but you're comparing their sex or their gift giving or how they made you feel. We used to go out to dance romantically.
That love language thing is such nonsense,
but I'm saying,
dude.
Yeah, but
that concept of like my love language is this or my love language is that. Right. You know what I mean?
And now you have the opposite happen. So you have this, right, which is the romanticism of it. But then now you add in what she's talking about is more of a business transaction.
Yeah.
Now it's going into the corporate aspect. It's a business, and you have to do this.
Well, that's Kevin
your bank
Samuels
account,
too,
you're
right?
this.
Yeah.
So now the language have changed because they realize how silly it is. The romanticism of things. Oh my God, it was so wonderful.
We need to get practical about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now the infusion of the economics now matter more. You know what I mean? Do you have a degree? I have a degree. You know what I mean? Are you a doctor? Do you have
what are we building here?
What
together?
are we building?
Yeah.
Right.
Courtney
Power
Davis
couples.
says they can love unconditionally when their conditions are met. Yeah, absolutely. Paul said, true, a lot of love is just projections. Ask God to disconnect that soul tie, Courtney said. I often wonder, like, if sex is actually, like, God sees that as you committing yourself to that person when you have sex with them.
In a physical sense, yes.
No, I'm saying, like, spiritually.
Spiritually, oh, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you're that act is saying I'm commit this person I'm like, because I always
soulishly
no, because I think about it like when you see, and I don't know, maybe in the translation it doesn't really mean that, but I always see when Abraham slept with his servant,
slave,
it says he took her as his wife. You know what I mean?
Well, that was the context in which you would have sex, right?
But I'm saying, like, it doesn't say he married her. Like, it says he took her as his wife. You know what I mean? But he really just had sex with her. So it's like, does that mean, like, I always thought,
well, technically, you're not married until it's consummated.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, is in the eyes of God, does that mean that he took, like, that's his wife now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But because, and then it really became his wife, but then Sarah was the one that was like, I don't like this, and kicked her out. You know what I mean?
She suggested it.
Yeah. Well, even though she suggested, then she was like, I don't like this no more.
Yeah. But at the same time, she was actually pushing herself in a position of Sarah. Too.
Right.
Like,
absolutely.
And so there was a lot of stuff at play because, again, soul ties. So, you know, there's a lot of things that start to come into that.
Right.
But what do y'all think about that? About, like,
I think so.
You're actually taking someone as your wife.
I'll speak. Let me just say this. I would say this as a man, and I can speak freely on this now that I'm clear to this. I would say this. In my past life, before I truly committed my life, and I was raised in the church, but I went down a path of sin. And I would say this. There were absolutely women that physically the connection was strong. You know what I mean? But it was on the pure sinful, sexual thing.
Right.
And these people were not right for me. But that draw and that connection was strong. And that's where the mistake made. Now, when I decided that I was going to change trajectory of my life and really focus on what does God want from me, when I asked God to change my life, all of the things that I used to like, you guys know I used to DJ, all the stuff, that all became undesirable to me because I was picking out of the same thing. When I decided to ask for a wife and really focus on trying to find a woman, I decided to end that thing. And the women that I used to, and let's be honest, you keep people around that you have these connections with because it's available.
Right.
You know, maybe you're not with them in a relationship, but what you have is, hey, they're drunk, I'm drunk, something can happen.
Right.
It's options, right? That's where the soul tie is dangerous now because we ask for forgiveness, but you have it available. When I officially met my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, I decided these people that were available had to be unavailable. And I had to end that. So we say this, and we talked about this a lot, Jamie. We say, I could be friends with my ex. No, you can't.
Right.
I could be friends with someone I used to be physical with. Not if you want to have a healthy relationship. And if you're saying that, you're lying to yourself. Because in a moment of anger, in a moment of a bad fight with the person that you're with, the devil will present that to you. That person will be available. I'll give you a story. My girlfriend, who was my girlfriend, my wife, now she's my wife. Her and I had a terrible fight. The night of that fight, the woman that I had the strongest soul tie texted me.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. And it was just, hey, you.
Yeah.
And I
One
knew,
of those. You know what that is. Hey, you text.
And let me tell you this.
Yeah.
The desire, the body.
Right.
But I knew that if I did this, I could never have a healthy relationship. I could never truly have a healthy marriage because then it'll always be available. And I had to end it. And I've fought many times with people who say, no, I could be friends with my ex. I can just not if you have a soul tie.
Because that's someone that doesn't want to let go of their own desire.
Right.
You know, to have those.
If you're honest.
It's to have those small little cracks in those doors open.
I wanted no options.
You could possibly step through at some time.
I wanted no
You
options.
don't really want to close them doors and cut those ties.
No, I wanted no options. And I truly wanted to abandon the idea of having a way out of building a strong godly relationship. And I think a lot of times you have to be, especially as men, you have to be careful. You have to be careful about that because where men focus on is on the conquest. You know what I mean? Not realizing that's part of the fall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right, guys, let's wrap it up. It's very late. We covered a lot. Appreciate y'all. Thanks, Lena, for joining us this evening. You had some great contributions. Thanks for your stories and your testimony.
I actually had one more thing, but I don't know if I want to bring it up because I don't know if it'll get into a bigger conversation.
Yeah, let's save that for next time.
Okay.
Let's save that for the next time. But definitely hold on to it because, you know, we love talking about all this stuff. But
make a note.
Yeah, in the meantime,
it's a deep conversation. So
yeah, definitely.
It needs a lot of time.
But yeah, so we're gonna say goodbye to you now, and then we'll end the show. Good night. See you next week, hopefully. All righty. All right, everybody. We appreciate each and every one of you guys for sticking with us. Shout out to everybody who's still in the chat, everybody who's been chiming in the whole time. We know it's late. We had some more stuff to get to, but you know it's all good. We'll get to it at another time. Courtney said, "Thanks everyone, great conversation." Paul said, "Powerful testimony." Yeah, man. So listen again. If you guys want to support, patreon.com/youngliontv. That's not it. And then you can become a member on there if you want to sign up and become a member. Support what we're doing. Support these conversations. You know, we're talking about real stuff here, man. We're talking about real life, important stuff. We're getting into topics, taking us into the wee hours of the morning now. And, we're trying to do this in a better way. So if you guys support, it really helps us out. Also, if you want to support, throw a Cash App out at the Young Lion TV. $YoungLionTV, Jatan.com. If you want merch, we got the t-shirts here. And we appreciate all y'all for coming in. We had a great time. And we're going to talk to you guys next week. And we out.
Young Lion, go live, yeah. Young Lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah.